recording and starting the stream.
As I load up my... Oh, crap. I hope this doesn't crash tonight. I have a bunch of tabs open.
No, so many tabs.
Drag this to a new window here. Okay, get in the roll.
This is what Sam does before game, is I end up reloading my entire computer. Because I'm paranoid, because it's like so much processing and all this other crap I'm doing. So yeah. Also, I had to adjust audio levels, so hopefully if anybody actually shows up tonight to watch the game, they'll tell me if the audio is too loud or too quiet. So.
Yes, anybody actually does.
Well, usually we have a couple viewers. We actually do, and they usually are in and out of being talkative. But you know,
so what you're saying is that occasionally we should be really quiet and then be really loud.
I hate you. I hate you so much because you know my little like audio level thing just went wee when you did that.
I know.
Hatdan's like
I'm like sitting here trying to adjust the levels, and Hatdan's like really quiet, and I'm like, well, maybe I need to. Oh no!
Sam says, yelling and thus bleeding.
Welcome to.
I've already adjusted me down. I actually talked a whole bunch earlier to like kind of accomplish the fact that I'm a loud person and that I needed to be adjusted down because I'm a loud person.
Well, you're allowed to be.
It's funny.
Okay. I apologize for us not having a game last week. There was just too much going on. So there hasn't been much change in the way of rules. Between last week and this week, there are some things that are probably going to be adjusted here in the future. Let me grab them up really quick so that we can have a peek. Desktop. Thing bombs. Okay, things on the chopping block. Not a whole lot other than some specifics at the moment. Okay, so just keep track of it for next time. Unless I remember stuff in the future. Just been a little addled trying to get stuff ready for the other book to release.
Lore book!
Speaking of, other book is getting closer to being finished. And pictures are coming in too, so I can put up a fancy image for that if people want to see that too.
I want to see the fancy image. Where's this fancy image at?
I'll load this fancy image. You can't stop the fancy image.
Can't stop the rock.
To log into the fancy image archive.
He is a formidable adversary.
Yes. Beloved and handsome and all that good stuff. Sings well. Here we go. Click, click. Okay, so the colors on this one are not finished quite yet. Load, damn you.
Link.
There we go. Are not finished quite yet, but you can see fancy things coming. Pew.
Copy link.
I put that in the main chat, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to set it to sure. I will show that off really quick because I wanted to hide the URL.
Cool city images also coming, so we have a few references now for different locations. I just got the ASR city artwork in, so that is also a thing that we have that's kind of cool.
Nice.
I'll post that shortly.
Shortly. Ooh.
Samli.
Shortly things.
It is not Samli.
Here's our city lines. There it is.
I've got to say, I honestly hope ASR cities transform into giant robots and fight giant pulse monsters for fun and entertainment.
I've got good news for you. It's nothing to do with that.
That is true.
Yeah. they do reconfigure that.
Do they go while doing it?
I think I would be sued so hard.
Damn.
Just so hard. Holy crap.
The good news is he does have Orson Welles signed on to voice one of the cities.
Amazing.
I'm not even allowed to say the word transform anymore. We have to use like reconfigure because it's too risky.
Just do what that one studio did and say you're transmorphing.
I might have to. But so they would sue me then.
Well, it's good to know we're all getting sued.
Crowd.
You can call it morph changing.
So there you go. I posted that in there so folks can see that fancy place.
Oh.
Just say your city's transmogrify.
Are the dots people?
The dots are people.
Okay, so this is not a city for ants.
Oh, it is a city for ants. Actually,
How can they go to the school if they can't even
I
fit
think
in
I
the
see a
building?
tor right there. There's a tor right here.
I mean, honestly, there's just something terrible about city design where they can just walk right off an edge.
Yeah, I know. Why is it made like a cube? I mean, these pipes go nowhere.
Have they heard
Anything you put
nothing
in that
about
pipe is
push
just gonna pour it up the
mechanics?
side.
People just get pushed right off. Also, I'm really scared of those weird, like, anti-grav platform things that are apparently there. Because all I can think of is if they ever fail, they just crush everybody underneath.
Well, that is a thing actually specific to ASR towns because most cities don't use anti-gravity for that very reason, but it's part of ASR's kind of like we're really good at this.
Also, look at the air conditioning units. They have like 2 for the entire city.
Oh, I just thought that building in the back was actually just a giant air conditioner.
Oh, no, that's just the vent system.
This is a really weird PC tower case.
It is a very weird PC tower case. Now that we've ruined HSD.
Confidence. Yeah, I appreciate all this. This is good stuff.
Now that we've ruined HSD, thank God.
Anyhow, so yeah, there are city pictures coming that will have fun little diagrams and stuff. So that is some artwork that you can expect to see in the new book. In the meantime, yes, Carl, Steam is heading out Payday 2 for free. There are lots of people griping about it, as they often do when anything you once paid for comes out for free.
I like how you just randomly replied to Carl, who cannot hear you in any way.
I didn't know. He could have been around. He was talking. Okay, so we can get started with a flashback as per usual. But before we do, is there any particular direction y'all would like to head now that we've been doing this for a while? Just like check in and see if there are plots we want to explore or things that...
Unfortunately, I want to play with my monkey hand as bad as I can, but I'm trying not to because that's...
I've got to find my wife.
I have to say that...
Where's my wife?
I must go upwards, not downwards, forwards, not backwards, and always... twirling. I think we're really gonna get sued.
For people
shredding all over.
Technically, we aren't making any money off this, so...
you did though.
It'll really suck if we get sued.
No, I mean... No! I hate you all, you know what I meant. Okay, anyway, so, but, no, personally, I kind of want to play with my monkey paw really bad. But I also feel like my character has this nagging need to try and find if there's a way to get more information.
Well, there are possible sources of said info if you want to look around for them.
I think I want to look for more info because, I mean, in general, I want to find more info about him, her, it, whatever gender or non-gendered preference this visitor has. But I'd also like to try and probably start trying to find out about our lost knowledge, because lost information really peeves Penny. I don't know about anybody else, but it peeves Penny to know an ending degree.
And really, the physicist stuff will just happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that will kind of show up on its own. So you can sort of like determine when you want to explore that or don't want to. He's sort of a subplot.
Now I just figure at some points I'm just gonna start like yelling at a window, going, "Are you even listening?"
The answer is
At
no.
some point?
No, only sometimes, right? No, I think I
He
think
is
I want.
always listening, but he's also always not listening.
I think I want to start trying to piece together what our last 10 years would have been like, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my character's starting to wonder, okay, apparently Tisa got married. What about the rest of us? I mean, Drac might have 2 more wives we don't know about or something, and you know, BB, well, he probably had a really good donut card somewhere, and
He's owed so many free samples.
he's getting so many free samples for donuts. But the thing is we apparently had 10 years of life, and it kind of just sunk in, I think, to all of us that we could have had relationships during that time. We could have had families during that time. There's a lot of things we might have just missed out on. And, I mean, what if we run into these people later? What's that going to be like? I mean, for all we know, like, Toberius could have somebody as well that's looking for them desperately, you know?
Well, the first thing they will say is, "Ah, zombie!"
It's a trap!
Has a book to read.
It's true. You did get a copy of the book that the 2 of you wrote. One of the books.
I also
the 2
need
of
to
you wrote,
convince Pulse to give me a free upgrade, because I need another reclaimed, but I don't qualify for it yet.
Okay. So stuff that we found out in the last one. If anybody wants to sum up the non-combat part of it, because it was mostly a big fight, but there were several things dropped at the end that were somewhat important.
I thought we were doing flashback first.
Conspiracy. Yeah, where's our
Where's our flashback?
spiel?
I think I've like spoon-fed you guys history
No,
enough.
we-
You
No,
said
Yeah,
before you
sum
did
up.
the flashback, and then you seem to have
We're
dropped off.
still in the before times.
Are you saying that there's no airplane coming for me to help make a landing of information?
Well, I think the big stuff we discovered was apparently whoever is behind the deaths is probably the same people that are doing the whole takey and telephomic fleshy to make the Sentinels or linked heavily. That is a pretty big thing. The Sentinels are scary. That's
Yes.
yeah.
I hate Zambonis.
Well, like all
Did one just
Zambonis,
drive down
or
the
just that
street?
particular one?
What about non-Zamboni ice resurfacers?
Those are fine. Zambonis I hate.
Specifically.
Yes, the other
Okay.
ice resurfacers haven't tried to run me over.
So other things that were discovered.
Did you forget to
that-
tell someone where Francis was?
There was a combat that took place with another group that ended up resolving in a ceasefire when it became clear that you were not the targets they were looking for. You discovered that they had been lying in wait for what they thought was going to be an ambush situation that they were trying to set up so that they could try to get a hold of a group that has apparently been kidnapping people of high intelliformic creep levels to convert them, or of high armored skin.
Done and weave and stage 3 creep.
They were stealing suitable candidates that had
there
already
you go.
started doing
Yeah.
the
So
various
those
surgeries
surgery
that they would
stuff
be
and
One
required to
half
make.
of the very expensive process.
Yes.
In order to turn them into soldiers, essentially, for a as yet unknown task for what they're trying to do. And this group has been trying to find them because one of their comrades had been stolen from them and converted, and they got her back. And they thought that they had caught on to this new one, but were instead set up to catch you. And you kind of discovered at the end of that it wasn't so much a setup to catch you. You had been baited into that situation by apparently an old comrade because she left a familiar device behind, Penny's locket, presumably to find out what was going on or possibly rescue her. Or possibly bait you to get you killed. You don't really know the motivations just yet, but she is apparently trying to reach out to the team to get some form of assistance. or at least let them know that she's still alive.
And I believe we found out during that whoever it was that left my locket had heavily edited it in such a way that it was noticeable to Penny that it was different, but to most other people it wasn't. But it was a message clearly not for me.
There were some hidden messages inside the locket, and Lonnie suggested at the end that it seemed as though Lynn was trying to communicate with her because of a previous relationship that had not yet been revealed at that point.
And that's when we found out that Tisa and Lynn were married.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun. And Penny went into the slight rage of somebody has effed with my locket. The monster is going to die. Anger!
Never mind that they might have been trying to cry for help without a voice to speak with. No, they tampered with my picture.
Why would they mess
To be
with
fair,
my
it is a
video?
person they are effectively completely unknowing of.
Yeah.
True.
Fucking with shit that means a hell of a lot more to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody I've never met, as far as this lifetime, has messed with one of my most precious possessions.
Screw what situation they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody who was lost on an island with no hope of rescue wrote down, save me on a note that had an important picture on it. I'd tell them to fuck themselves.
What's the
Screw that.
honestly? What's the value? What's the value of Vector Life to Penny at this point? We get reprinted on a regular basis.
So far, you've all managed to avoid that except for Drac,
Yeah,
who had an unfortunate encounter.
I'm just
with
saying, as far as
Loafus.
Penny knows, she spent 10 years being printed out, so she has, she might not have that same concept of, oh, how sad that person died. It's more, what was the value of the information that they carried?
Apparently more valuable than your picture. Oh!
Oh! Situational.
Aiden's log. Stardate, some bullshit. Check the metadata. I always knew my life had these little jaunts like this. This is about 3 years ago, by the way. This is where this is set. I always knew my life would have little jaunts like this, but this is the first time it's happened this dramatically before. Feels a little like a forced vacation. I think I'd be enjoying it more if situations were different, but they're not. So there's that. I think that's the overall feeling everywhere right now. It's nice here at the moment-ish. The workload is light. We keep getting fed easy jobs, big gaps between them, plenty of downtime. But I don't have to really leave, at least not very far. I know a few of the crew feel like they're losing their edge a bit. When the girl shows up a few days, that'll help. There'll be a training period, plus we'll back up the fighting strength so we can start taking on real work again. Shake off this feeling of meandering. I hope the kids take it okay. Lynn and Tisa's adopted troublemakers of the station's mascots at this point. I think we all kind of take shifts with them. Tisa isn't technically on leave, but Lynn took actual time off. Apparently, parenting in her condition has opened up a whole new avenue of exploring nanite neural patterns. Tisa wasn't goopy when she had her first kid, so this is a new experience for her too. They're probably halfway through a new book. I doubt ASR is going to let those keep sliding by, honestly. They already pulled the last one. Keel's been gone a few months now. Haven't really heard from him. I hope he's finding something to do. I mean, he could have just retired, maybe just retired, but I always thought I was going to do that with him. And the kid showed up and he was just out. I know that was a big part of their relationship issue a while back. They were doing fine with each other too. I thought things had settled, and then Tisa and Lynn ended up adopting despite her original problems with the idea of having kids, and then I guess he just couldn't live with that. Cashed in his chips and left. Can't say I blame him either. Felt a little like he was toyed with. With Lynn actually off roster and Tisa splitting time between work and the family and Keel not being here anymore, we're a little understaffed. This new girl from Venus, she's supposed to be our sort of stand-in field lead while Lead's out. She's got personal experience with a variety of weird shit, plus a long background in overall soldiering, so I'm hoping for a clean transition, but we'll see. Feels like nothing's really that simple these days. Oh, hang on, somebody kicked over coffee. I'm out. Click.
Oh my god.
Man, your backstory just gets way more interesting every time.
What, because the coffee is still around?
Yeah, somebody kicked over coffee. Tragedy.
I actually,
sorry.
I feel like we
What-
should have heard
what-
like Benton screaming in the background. Hey, what are you doing?
What we don't hear is the brawl between Benton and Toberius at that point that just rampages through the half of the station. The entire time, Toberius is screaming, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it."
I
Weird, one
slipped.
man.
I slipped.
One coffee in one hand the whole time, not spilling it.
So Tisa, oh no, wait, actually, Toberius, your surgery should be finishing up because I think that's where we left. Right, you were getting fixed up, so you
Oh, yeah, he
are
was disfigured.
He was, but I thought we fixed it, didn't we?
Yeah, it got fixed.
No.
I was
Allie
planning for surgery to fix it.
Biffed it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you did screw it up? I can't remember.
No. I paid for the surgery too.
Oh, okay.
Ow.
All right. So yeah,
I was going to keep the red eyes and just go back and...
I realized I
back
can
then,
afford
yeah.
the cosmetic surgery for free, so
they're not cool red eyes, Toby. They're like, I've been drunk for 3 days and vomiting red eyes. They're bad red eyes.
I've got an addiction, red eyes, right?
Yes, red eyes that don't allow you to get brought into civil places.
Oh, if they were just the completely blood red sclera, go back to Aiden Keel. What the hell happened to you? I sold my soul. And just keep going.
You gotta be careful. That's
No, you
actually
walk
got a
up to them,
market
get
value
real
on it.
close, put a hand on their shoulder, and go, "It's Pink Eye, give me a hug."
Oh, that's far scarier, honestly. Okay, so you are all able to, I believe, you are all able to more or less reconvene at this point, because I think we had Drac got collected by Penny and BB,
Yeah.
and then Tiberius should be finishing up, and then
Penny is still
Ellie
trying to
is-
figure out how to console Drac, but also doesn't really like to be physically close to Drac right now.
In a way, he's actually kind of hard to grok as an overall entity because
He's actually harder for me to understand as a person anymore.
Yeah, the paw pad itself is like close to your size, so you can kind of sit on the hand and it's like a ride, but that's about it.
Mhm. Yeah, I am going to find the nearest printout place and buy an additional holo locket.
That can be done.
And I am
there
going
will be
to
place in
transfer.
the front of the building.
Huh?
There's a little buy spot in the front of the building.
Yeah,
that you can get.
I'll buy another little locket at the front of the building, and then going to transfer the files between the two to copy it, because I'm pretty sure that's how they can do that. So I'm going to sync the files, and then I'm going to make sure that they stay exactly the same, like there's no discrepancy between. If there is a discrepancy, I will be giving the air quote original to Tisa, otherwise I'll give her the copy.
Well, if you want to really examine it, you got to do
I will do
mind
a roll.
perceive and-
I also was going to say, can I invoke eidetic memory?
Oh yeah, you can do that.
I will invoke eidetic memory. I can do that 3 times a session.
Looks like the near as you can tell, all the details seem to be the same.
Okay.
It was just data that moved over. So
Okay, so I'm just making sure that it wasn't like there was any kind of like hidden thing I couldn't like make perfect, and then I'm just basically going to because I'm getting a proper size locket for her, not like penny size locket that she would wear, and then I will go find Tisa and I will prefer this to her. I'll be Tisa, this
starting.
you should have this.
So, well, hope to lock it up with a tendril.
It's got the recording in it of the one that's meant for you.
She'll look at it awkwardly while looking at her goopy form.
Do you want me to have BB carry it for now until we can find some place for you to put it? But I just thought you might want to have it to examine later.
Actually, she'll one of her little hollow projectors on her own form will fire up briefly, showing a smiley face. Do you think you could help me transfer it to my internals?
Oh yeah, I can probably do that. Or oh wait, Toberius is still in surgery, isn't he? Or is he coming out?
He's resting. He should be waking up soon.
Oh okay. Well yeah, let me help you do that. There's nothing to this, is there, Zev? It's just wireless transfer.
it's just you can just send that data there.
Yeah, I'll send that data to her then.
Thank you. And she'll pop up the Penny's mother on her own body. That's cool.
Well, that just got creepy for Penny. Penny's just going to kind of turn and walk.
Penny has seen a lot of her mom today in a weird, creepy kind of way.
Yeah, this is a level of creepy that Penny doesn't need involving her mom right now. She's already a little traumatized about it today. So yeah, as soon as you pop it up, Penny's just gone.
Cool. But bye, dear.
Is there anything specific you'd like to do with it, Ellie?
Suppose I will look through whatever there is.
The picture itself just kind of looks like a recording of Penny and her mom, like it normally was. You actually don't see anything because you're not terribly familiar with the recording that seems out of place. But she seems to believe that there is some kind of message in here somewhere. So you will need to keep looking for the key.
Well, I suppose I will wait outside of recovery room and just read my book a bit while waiting for Toberius to awaken.
Let's see here. What is this one? This is a further examinations into various lifestyle choices and communal families and stuff, and it's kind of like civilization building. The first thing that you notice when this is up here is that it is not available in like stores. It appears to have been a old download or something like that, or was put out on a private server. And it hasn't been for some time, long before they were doing this sort of brief ban.
So this isn't even the one I can access because it was locked down. It just doesn't exist in.
It just doesn't seem to be around. So it either wasn't widely published, or it was removed for some reason at some point. There's nothing immediately obvious about it from the early chapter that you kind of begin on. Toberius, if you want to wake up, you can do that.
Awake!
And then the rest of you, if you want to
there's
kind of
snows on
convene, can start to do that too. It is, you guys were in the nighttime. It's going to get close to morning soon. People who need to sleep, who weren't just in surgery, probably still need to sleep. It's been a long night.
Penny is going to go and vaguely squeak up.
Actually, sorry. No, it hasn't been that long a night.
Well, it was the middle of the night when we went, right?
Yeah, well, it was close to midnight, and we're gonna burn up about 3 hours there. So technically, if you wanted to still be fine, you could. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah,
It's
not
time.
a terrible idea.
Sleeping might be a fine plan, but if
it
there's
might
other
not be
things
a
you
bad
wanna hit
plan
up
if we want to be
tonight,
active
yeah.
the next day. But yeah, Penny's going to go and yell a good squeak at Drac that she's gonna start heading back to the hotel, and then she's going to say, Benny,
Benny and the Jets.
Benny, Benton.
And the Jets. Oh, stop
Benton.
doing that.
Benny,
Yes.
could you do me a favor?
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's great, because you're just like the person I can really depend on, and so I want to have you do a job for me. Could you make sure Toberius gets back to the hotel okay? And maybe give him a good, piping hot cup of coffee to get him going, because that'll help him wake up from surgery, I think. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to the hotel. Also, Drachert might need like a large moving truck to get there. I'm not sure. But can you make sure everybody gets back to the hotel okay?
Sure, okay,
Alright.
I guess.
Alright. I'm gonna give him a thumbs up.
I like Penny's mocking method of mimicking his accent.
Oh, no, his accent is actually contagious.
It is actually a little bit
It slowly infects.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate that. Like I said, I'm gonna head back a little early. I need to get my documentation together, and I just want to say thank you. You are such a pleasure to work with. It is very refreshing to have such a wholesome person on the team. You're a great guy. Okay.
The manipulation is palpable.
Not like the rest of these fucks.
You okay?
Okay. Penny's gonna go take a little cab home.
A minicab, you might say.
I'm gonna take a tiny Uber.
Are you going back to the actual hotel, or were you going elsewhere?
Is there a place nearby that I can drop off reports a little bit more securely?
Depending on who they're going to.
Smith.
No, you're just supposed to transmit that to him. You should probably
Yeah.
do that from here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will transmit reports to Smith.
Well, wait, you've been there for like a day, right?
Yeah.
His ship's still there.
Oh shit! I'm going to the ship.
So you can cab up in that direction if you wanted to give.
Yeah, I'm gonna cab up in that direction for reasons.
Right. So that will be a bit of a drive because you have to get out to where the docking area is. So
No,
you'll
that's
be
fine. Other
traveling
people
that
can
way.
do stuff.
You can nap in the car for a little while.
Yep.
Other folks.
Drac would probably actually just like to walk back.
As you thump through the ground.
Man, I just wanted to think that
You can't just get used to hooves.
IRPF is just gonna have like this weird police escort keeping people off the sidewalk.
It is tough to kind of get around there, but it's not impossible. And this is not so completely uncommon that like they need to clear roads to get people out of the way or something like that. But it certainly draws eyes even this late. You're in kind of the you guys went back to the TTI center that you were at before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in like the downtown area. So the streets are less crowded at night, but still have some people on them, and there are some people that are like waving and some pictures being taken and stuff because it is a bit of a novelty. But on the whole, you were largely left alone.
With hooves.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. There's a few concerned mothers being like, "Don't look at it. I don't want you to start pretending to be him."
Too late, mother. I am already back row.
Too late, mother. I am already back row. Jesus Christ, that meme.
But you can walk back in that direction. BB, one of your charges, has decided to walk home alone. Is that okay?
Are you sure you're going to be okay? You know the way?
I should be fine.
Okay, but you gotta let me know the moment you get back.
I will do that. Do not worry.
I like putting BB in charge. He's reliable.
That leaves Tiberius and Tisa still at the building, I believe.
BB,
Yes.
I think I'm going to be stuck here for a little bit longer. Go with Drax. Make sure he doesn't do something stupid.
Were we all together?
You were in because you were kind of going toward the waiting room, weren't you?
I think I'd be outside whichever room Tobias was recovering in.
Right. The recovery doesn't take all that long. I mean, this is pretty minor stuff by this particular stage of
They give him like a hypo spray of coffee. He screams as it burns his arteries, and they kick him out of the
so
room.
he can come out of there and be okay at this point.
All right. Well, I don't think we should leave him alone. He seems blue. Is the right word?
No, I'm pretty sure that's not right. He looks pretty not blue.
Mostly brown,
So-
really.
Few other colors, really. Yeah.
I suppose we should hoof it after him.
Yes. Let's go tromping along.
Also, are you feeling okay, dear?
I feel like I've been run over by a Zamboni.
Run over is not quite accurate. More crushed by, landed on, thrown through the air in a
It
glorious
distinctly
arc.
wasn't driving anymore once it landed on you.
If I had wings, I could have said I was a free bird.
Also, I'll catch you up on what exactly happened after you took a little nap.
Okay. Well, let's go catch up to Drac before chaos ensues. Oh, and by the way, Sev, I'm going to try to link to the net.
Okay, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, now that we have unfettered access.
Yes, we're on a planet.
You got the Wi-Fi password?
Oh,
We
look,
can-
parental guidance controls are keeping you from getting onto the internet proper. Do you know Smith's password?
Give me a couple hours, I could probably social engineer it.
Have you tried
111
2
1
3
That's the kind of password
4
an idiot would have as a
5?
luggage.
Make sure to write these down.
So you got, you can, everybody can pretty much access normally now, I believe.
Yay!
I'm going to start digging through the news feeds.
Okay, it is, I'm going to say that I got to figure out what order this all hits, because Sam sent a transmission up to, when did you send that thing to Aiden, Sam?
Oh, you mean to Aiden Keel and also the one I sent to Smith?
Well, you sent the video one that you sent me
Yeah.
about leadership one. When was that sent?
I was actually planning on sending that probably close to the beginning of the surgery.
Okay, so a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So they have probably received that and might be sending one back shortly. Right.
Yeah. And then I was going to, well, you know what, I'll tell you what I'm doing when I go see Smith.
Okay.
What's up? Did I manage to get my message off about Lynn may still be alive?
Yeah. I got that. When did that go out to?
Probably before she went into surgery as well.
Before she went. Okay, so that should all kind of be going at about the same time. So I'm trying to figure out when this will take place. Okay, so you'll probably be
going to
getting.
show up last and going to be like, "Hey, by the way."
You'll be getting a message back.
I think Sev sprung a leak.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who this would go to based on who it came in. I think it's going to go back to Sam.
Okay.
So this one will go to Allie, and it's basically Aiden replying to her message about Lynn, and he seems a little addled and is speaking quickly and stuff, and says, "All right, I've looked over what you've sent me here. This is all very concerning. So you're fairly certain. Well, I can't really communicate with you at the same time here like this. Okay, so we're going to proceed with the idea that who you've come in contact with knows a little bit about what they're doing. I'm trying to get some people looking into their history so we can find out if they can actually be relied on. Regardless, though, listen, you need to be cautious with your pursuit of this. In fact, I don't really want your team to be chasing down this pathway because you're not equipped for it. Whoever it is that's doing this is probably part of a much larger operation. I'm going to send this on to TTA Actual and get an actual rescue team put in place with substantially more resources than you guys currently have available to you, because I think it's going to take more than that to take care of. If you get any more information from this team that you've communicated with about where they're heading or what they might be doing, pass it on to me so that I can pass it on to them, and we can actually bring down something larger to get this job done. And that will be his message, essentially. So he wants you to get, if you hear anything else from...
Forward information, stay out of it.
Yeah, stay out of it, essentially, because you don't have the equipment and or people required to take this task on, if they are that big.
Cool.
There's nothing else particularly noteworthy in the message.
Just awkward.
So he doesn't comment on anything familial or anything like that. There's a message that comes in about the same time to Penny as you're traveling. That will also be from him. He seems a little calmer in this particular one. Not that you got the first one, so you don't have much to compare it to, but it is still just Aiden talking, going, Penny, I received your message. It sounds like you had quite an eventful evening. I don't know how you guys keep stumbling into this stuff, but hey, it's proving your value. Why don't you guys take a load off? Regarding who is going to be leading your particular unit, this is not a job that we had allocated to any particular one of you last time, specifically because we had Lynn, and then when she left, or rather, when she was off, we had a replacement who was sort of a temp. But that temp was actually taken out of active service when she became a perceived security risk. And this is a visual message, so you can kind of see him scratching his head a little bit, like he's trying to figure out.
He's trying to figure out how he's going to solve this problem because he didn't really think about the fact that Lynn's not there to be the leader right now.
Yeah, well, it's more that he did, but he wasn't really expecting a large issue like this to pop up all of a sudden. Like there wasn't going to be a need for it right away. And it says, I've received information from Tisa regarding the potential that Lynn is possibly still savable. We're going to look into that with a larger resource allocation than what you guys currently have available. If you get any information about it, pass it on to me. Don't pursue it individually, or you're liable to just end up in the same situation she is. We will. I want you to look into somebody. And he passes you this data file that downloads into your toggle through the video. And it says, this is somebody who's worked with your previous group and was taken off roster when she became a perceived security risk. But the security risk was deemed by our previous old man, who was also made the same determination of some other people who are now not on that list. And I think there may have been some bias in there that that is no longer applicable. I want you to see if you can find her and tell her your situation and see if I guess she's available, because that might be something good to tap. Let her know that we're willing to entertain the idea of bringing her back on board if she's interested in taking the job. And then he cuts out as well.
Penny kind of nods to herself and continues waiting through the car ride.
Okay, that will move forward.
I'm assuming someone's finally telling me what's going on.
Yeah, on the journey home, or back to the hotel rather, Tisa will fill you in on what happened after you went splat.
So you get the story that you well, there wasn't so much to lose, honestly.
More, the team wasn't actually an enemy team; it was crossed wires and
right. Yeah,
it was the whole discussion after the
right.
fight, basically, that he missed out on.
Yeah, and that would be what I was sending to Aiden and Keel. I figure at this point I would have just uploaded that and kept digging through the news feeds.
Okay. Do a mind perceive and search.
Crap, I gotta find my character sheet. That should be roll 10 plus. I'm okay, I've got it. I'm waiting for it to come up. Mind perceive. Dang it. Could it not be a mind exert?
No.
Dang it.
Wow, 137.
That rolled wrong!
I want to know, it's out of a D310, you ran it more or less in the middle.
Yeah.
Ish. It
It was kind of low, actually.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go. You're okay. The 10 holds off the 1. So that's an 11.
Oh, wait, that should be a plus 1 more. Because I actually have a +2.
So plus 12.
Okay.
or 12.
So it's 12. Okay. Yes, you catch a like immediately airing wave from Mars on their local feeds, having traveled off into sort of the distance to find out what's going on other worlds and stuff too. What were you looking for in particular? Anything?
Well, as Tisa's explaining what happened, I'm doing a filter on the feeds, looking for quick blurbs about missing people, with a filter for Intelliformic flesh.
Okay.
And it's not going to be hard. It's going to be a very soft filter, so it's going to be dumping a lot of information. And I'm going to have to filter through it, it's so something doesn't get missed.
There's a few things actually with that broader thing. You get mostly local stuff. So there's a few things that kind of pop up. Not too much in the way of Intelliformic, mostly because the population here appears to be small, but you do find out that there are a few other members of this particular city that have that situation. So there are potentials that you might look into later on, who may or may not be the subjects of eventual kidnapping. And you can mark those down, like where they are and what they may be doing. There are also still stories of disappearances, strange occurrences along the coastline, not necessarily directly related to those people. Sometimes it's just a thing that happens, and places to avoid. And then there is a police report about the building that you were just in, saying that it burned down due to arson, basically. Hoodlums playing around with fire for the building that you were just inside. And then the other things that kind of pop
the warehouse.
the warehouse that you were just in there. And then the other one that kind of catches your eye just because it's obscure, having to do with the disappearances, actually isn't to do with this direct location at all. It's an ongoing investigation on sort of like hunting zones and the kind of sanctioned hunting areas that are nearby the city for playing around with the wildlife, and bioprobes and stuff like that, for having big staged fights and stuff, saying that people who are going on tours or people who are going on sanctioned safaris essentially were disappearing. And while this isn't terribly uncommon for like a violence thing, it's actually fairly weird to have it not leave anything behind. Typically the critters that are made for this sort of thing, they might eat a person if they win it, but they're not going to eat all their equipment or anything else like that. But folks are vanishing in thin air on these safaris. So there is a suspicion now, and some IRPF have been dispatched to the areas to try to look up if there might be some kind of abduction ring taking place for these people that are kind of wandering off into the boonies for these creature fights.
I'm making a note of that one.
Okay.
And the last thing I'm going to be doing during this walk is I'm going to be poking at the secured nets that I know about.
Well, that's like, you're in a city of thousands of corporations, so you got to be a bit more specific.
Grotto secure nets.
Oh, you're trying to use your ability thingy?
Yeah, just to poke in, see if I might have left something behind.
Here?
Well, we were all over the system as far as...
Right. Well, are you trying to use your background ability or what?
Yes.
Because there's a background ability for basically seeing messages left behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to use for that.
Okay, let me have a look at that really quick. Load.
That was an okay album, I suppose, but... Thanks, folks. They'll be here as long as I'm conscious.
Yay!
Justin, it's not.
He should be.
Here we go. First passive. Hidden messages and architecture and advertisements that point towards safe secret societies related to your own if they're around. Useful to find shelter and provisions, converse without corporate eavesdropping. Okay, you can look around the surrounding area for that. So do a body perceive and search.
Body perceive. That roll looks awfully.
Wow. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you didn't roll. Because
Wow.
you get a decent view of the surrounding area, including data stuff, and you do pick up on kind of similar stuff to what you saw in that job listing, in that there are probably messages hidden around here. But the codes are not necessarily familiar to you. So it doesn't look like anything related to your personal history is kind of on this immediate network. Or at least among these immediate buildings.
Okay. Well,
you get the idea that there are probably several working secret organizations around here, though.
Well, I'm going to snap a quick screenshot of one, just for my knowledge.
Okay.
See if I can't figure them out, and I might run experiments with it later.
Oh.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun.
The
Alright,
last
other
thing
than
that people get as you're kind of getting back to the hotel before, I think a little before Sam actually gets to where she's going, is you will pick up a transmission from the newscasts over on Mars, because they're getting into daytime now and they have new information, and it appears to be an interview that got lit up because you were searching for Intelliformic stuff. And the interview appears to be with an older woman. I don't know, how old would she be?
Is this Miss Cadwell?
No, this is Allie. How old's your daughter? The original one.
Tisa's. Let's see. Tisa's 24 when she had her. Believes she's 60 now, so it would be actually 70. So 70 minus 24.
About
So like
50-ish.
50 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's middle age-ish.
But she could have had some work done.
She could have. Oh, she looks older and
She's distinguished.
yes, she's mature. I'll put it that way. Doesn't look like a child specifically, but is talking out of view. It looks like a large press group around her, and you recognize it because it's or no, you don't have any immediate knowledge of that, but it was talking about Tisa specifically. So the word came up and it came through the filters through that, and the video kicks in, and it's her going basically saying, as she's standing on this podium, that she wants to get the media focus to be looking more specifically at somewhere else for the explosion. And her statement is this focus has been centralized on her mother as a possible culprit, but I have been in IRPF interviews for the past month, going up and down, and we need to change the focus on this to the organization that is actually responsible, or that I feel is actually responsible. My mom would never have blown up a building that contained not only her children but my husband. This is not my family has suffered a horrific loss here, and you guys are chasing a ghost. The only thing that I am aware of that was remotely related to something like this was an organization that she knew about called Blackwatch. That needs to be what we're looking at now. You need to focus your attentions on this organization and stop chasing someone who would not have destroyed her family and all the people that were involved with it. They were coming to meet her. This was not a planned event. And it kind of trails off, and the newscaster, it flips back over to the person who's running it, who will forever be, I guess, the Zootopia newscaster, just because it's a Canadian national hero. So I guess we're going to have that one forever now. Is saying that this was an official statement finally released from, what was her name? Do you remember?
Oh, what? My daughter?
Yeah.
She's never given one.
Oh, okay.
So never give a one is her name.
She's Kelly Whitbeck.
She's killing that. Oh, she's not Whitbeck anymore because she was married. But the name that's on
now
there is
Whiplash.
whatever. She's been changed on the side of it. Said that this has been an official statement, the first press release from Kelly since the destruction of the mega building on City 7. Basically claiming that her mother should be absolved of guilt, and that a greater focus should be put on this shadow organization that she claims exists based on little hints and tidbits she had gotten. But clearly these tidbits are because Tisa Whitbeck was involved in some way with this organization, so there must be some sort of attachment there. IRPF is asking for anybody who knows anything about Blackwatch, and is requesting that anybody who makes any video game references stop doing so that they can actually get to the bottom of this. And apparently, the defense for this is new news to the media organizations, was apparently the Tisa's family had been on vacation with her daughter to get to know them, and on this particular day when this was supposed to take place, her husband was driving them to meet her at said building when the explosion took place. So if this was an actual planned building destruction, it was an awfully tragic one, even more so than before. But it seems to take a little blame possibly off, but you can see through the forums that a lot of people are saying that this cements her as this is most likely she is the culprit. She wanted to take out the whole family, and it was some big thing. And there's all sorts of speculation as to what this quote Blackwatch thing is now.
Toberius's ears just kind of suddenly droop. Fuck.
You okay, Toberius? Yeah.
No.
Just a second. I have to give the baby one under my wife here. Just like...
Okay.
It's totally not a euphemism.
So apparently, people noticed that I slipped on that YouTube video of Penny's report. Because I'm an evil bastard. I was gonna link it into tonight's game when I posted it up.
Well, you are a DM, so it does make sense that you're an evil bastard.
Yeah, I am a DM, and that means I am a terrible person as well. So, hey. Good for me. So, Allie has a much larger family than we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute? I wonder what happened to the rest of us.
All died.
We already know Drac has a massive family.
I will point out one thing to correct your statement, Sam, if the news reports are true.
Huh?
Had.
No, we didn't know there was a daughter.
No, we knew about the daughter.
larger.
I know about the daughter.
She
Yeah,
knew
the
about
daughter
the
was
daughter.
actually known.
Yeah.
Nah, pretty sure
Nah.
I was paying a lot of attention.
Nah.
She's just 10 years older than I remember. Also, I was estranged from her when I knew her, so...
Well, you're still pretty strange.
Ah.
Oh, jeez. I'm actually kind of curious to see what all happened to all of us during the 10 years we worked here with Blackwatch. I really can't imagine BB doing much more than coffee and donuts, eh?
Actually, he became major counter-revolutionary and destroyed an entire planet. But
I actually think what this is all coming to is the person that blew up the building was BB.
I knew it.
You're all bad people.
And what it was is the reason she said I'm so sorry is he was like, give me a proper apology, eh? He was like, not good enough.
No, the last words
Wasn't Canadian enough.
The last words before the building exploded were, "I've created the perfect donut, eh?"
Or maybe
Spherical coffee has been
you were
perfected.
just trying to send us a message that it was BB, which is why you're apologizing.
Ah,
Cunning.
Yeah.
Eyes in the dark, 2 moons circle. Just say hydrogen for Christ's sake. All right.
all right, so you're back, Sev.
Yeah. Mhm.
Tisa,
Hmm?
we have bigger problems.
More of them?
Yes, and first off, before I tell you this, my condolences. And the second I'm saying that, I'm just grabbing the hyperlink for that video and I'm shooting it off to Aiden and Keel.
Okay. They may already have it because they're kind of.
They probably do, but still, just in case.
You're doing it so they know you've seen it, basically.
Well, if in case they don't have it in case they're in a blind spot, because they might not have been
Condolences.
looking for this information.
Mm-hmm.
Tisa, you had a daughter, right?
I have a daughter. Kelly, is she alright?
She is alive. That is the only good news I can give you at this point.
Give me the news straight forward, please.
Apparently when everything went down before we got regressed, her family was coming to meet with her and you. And
Yes.
her family was caught in boom. Also, she apparently knows about the group or organization.
Where are you getting this information, dear?
Live feed from Mars.
You mind forwarding that to me?
Blink. Just in case, here's the archive site. People are still thinking it was you, even though she's calling for investigations into the organization.
Tisa is going to look at it herself.
You're gonna have to wait 15 seconds for the ad to finish.
You think I don't have an ad blocker, you scrub?
Okay, go ahead.
Watch, it's probably something Toberius built in the past, and these people are like, "How do we defeat this?" We'll just embed everything into.
So yeah, you see the video as presented before, and it's odd to see her 10 years older than the last time you really saw her. But she looks haggard and tired and agitated, basically. And there's a great many microphones pointed in her general direction. But yeah, she's accusing this organization basically of the bombings. As associated stories are saying that that further parts of the interview that weren't televised were saying that she didn't know much about the organization, that it was something that she'd picked up through bits and pieces by talking to her mother and her mother's new wife, because they had been spending a little bit more time talking after the kids had become a part of their association. They had, like, rekindled an older relationship, when there was basically a sister and a brother were brought in. There's a separation there of about 50 years between generations, but it's technically sister and brother. So they were kind of getting to know them a little bit, and it was like having aunt and uncle sort of thing. And we're on vacation over there, and we're supposed to be meeting up with you. And her husband was driving them to the building where you were at when the explosion took place.
Thomas was a good man.
If it's any consolation, you have my condolences.
I wish I knew how I should be feeling about my other children. This is very problematic. She's gonna keep looping it over, watching again and again. And I'd like to do a perceive of some variety, see if my daughter actually seems to believe what she's saying.
Yeah, you can try. It's awfully tough to
Yeah.
tell from a video recording, but
Yeah, but
do a mind or community perceive and manipulation or communication rather. Like old term there.
Okay, straight D10s, but I have a double simplifier, so an auto 8. Might not be enough, but yeah.
So you have 1/8 in there.
Yep.
All you can tell is that it seems like she's saying it, and nothing out of the ordinary, particularly. It's tough to glean any deeper meaning from it. It just looks like what it says.
Okay, cool.
Sam, you are arriving at the ship now.
Yay, I'm at the ship. I got a little bit of sleep, right?
Yeah, you could have dozed a little bit there.
Yeah, I dozed for a bit. Alright, gonna head on in. They'll let me.
Yeah, you
I will request
you-
permission to board.
yeah, they'll let you inside, and you can be escorted down to talk to. Oh wait, it's like 1 a.m. They're first going to tell you that he's not awake.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, did you need to drop something off for him? We don't really want to wake the captain if. Actually, he's not the captain. He's just a guy.
It shouldn't
We
be
don't
1 in
really
the
wanna-
morning. It should be like 3 in the morning at this point, right?
Oh, then surely he should be up. He's
Yeah,
still
surely
asleep,
he should
though.
be up. He should totally be awake.
Also, do you mean to tell me that shipboard time is synced with local time?
They might be here a while.
Why would they be here a while?
But they're saying he's still asleep currently.
They're saying he's still asleep. Okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be a few hours yet.
Okay. I will ask if I can have a room for a minute and a box or some sort to put something in for him.
Yeah. Did you need quarters for the evening, miss, or?
I probably ought to get back. How far out was this?
Quite a ways. It was about an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't stay. I kind of have that look of I probably need to make the ride back. So yeah, I'll leave some stuff here then.
Okay.
I want to get something secure to put this in.
Okay. What are you trying to leave for him?
I'm gonna actually leave him both copies of the locket.
I thought you gave one to.
Tisa didn't take it.
Oh,
She
okay.
just wanted.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So what context are you leaving this with? Do you give him like a message? Or...
I'm gonna leave a message. So.
And what's gonna be in it?
The message is basically this is the recording we got from the interlopers we ran into at the warehouse. Find more information in my more detailed report. This recording is of my mother. I know it by heart. I know from my memory perfectly on this. It has been tampered with. I can see it has been tampered with in a form of pattern. Someone is clearly trying to use it to leave a message for a member of our team. I have given a copy of it to Tisa, as the interlopers seem to believe that this message was for her from Lynn. I do not know if you have further information on our attitudes or our psychology reports or anything like that from our previous incarnations that could be helpful to decipher this message. I do not know if this is information that we should even have. Turning that over to you for your best analyzation of it. If possible, I would like to get a restored recording back at some point. Sorry to miss you while you were out.
Analyzation is my new favorite word, by the way.
Analyzation.
Analyzation. Yeah.
Analyzation.
We're gonna analyze it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can leave that basically in direct mail for him.
Yeah.
And it's pretty secure because this is the ship that he's operating off of.
That's why I wanted to come deliver it, because I didn't want to just send this through the air traffic.
Yeah. So, that'll get left for him. You can make your way back home if that's where you wanted to go.
Yeah, I'll make my way back. That was my purpose.
Okay. About 45 minutes into that ride, as you're coming back into the city proper, because the way this is sort of designed, maybe I can kind of scribble it onto the map here. Freehand. So if we have kind of the island, the peninsula, basically, off the edge here is where the spaceport was. So you had to drive down this big area by this speed bubble looking thing to get to where the spaceport was. Downtown is around, this area toward the middle. And the coastline that you guys were just doing this thing on is around over here. So around the time that you reach about here, when you're coming up around the coast and heading into the city proper, about halfway into the trip, something will occur. But is anybody else doing anything with that amount of time before we get into that? Or are people just going to bed?
Drac was actually wandering off.
Are you heading off toward the sleeping place, or are you heading off toward somewhere else?
He was just wandering off, attempting to get away from the others.
Oh, okay.
I suppose.
I think they said they were going to follow him before, so...
BB was, so...
I know Toberius wanted us to, so...
Yeah, so BB is following Drac. Drac, you were... So that was an hour, 2 hours into it. So, BB, if you were following him from the point that Essel was also traveling outward, then you probably realized that he wasn't really heading back home after a while, because at the point that Sam is returning to town, it's been 3 hours or so since the initial leaving of the hospital. So at what point do you want to find out if he's all right or see where he's going or something?
For the moment, I'm not going to confront him.
Okay, so Drachert, unless you eventually turn back around, you've been wandering for 3 hours now.
They'd probably wander towards the edge of the peninsula, and then when he's out there, he's going to attempt to draft a message to his family, basically saying, "Hey, I am in fact alive."
Okay, so you will get to the coastline, basically, is where you're heading again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's in the message?
It's basically just him saying, "Hey, I am alive." He doesn't end up sending it. He puts it in a file that has about 20 or 24 other drafts of the same message in it.
Okay, so it's like I would have sent this thing. BB, I don't know if that is a thing that you are particularly concerned about stopping him about, or if that's just not something that would occur to you to be concerned about.
Well, I'm not exactly looking over his shoulder, so...
Right, so it looks like he just went off to the beach and is sitting there for a while. It's not an amazing view. It is... where are you at? Did you head off toward the same area that you guys did the operation in, or did you...
He probably pointedly headed in a different direction.
Okay, so... Oh, then you will probably be...
He's right over where the shark likes to go swimming.
Could be. Yeah, there's a lot of coast over there, so you can just kind of be at some part over here.
Probably been relocated. I'm sure it's.
So the view here is foggy and not grand, and there aren't very many people around. Basically.
Yeah, he'll finish up not sending the message and saving it in the file, and then turn around and start heading back.
BB, are you attempting to be stealthy, or you're just kind of around?
I was trying not to follow him too closely, that he'd turn around and be like, "Oh crap!" But I'm not exactly trying to be stealthy now.
Visibility isn't...
Stealthing would be dishonest,
Visibility isn't tremendous in the area that you're in, because the fog is pretty thick, so you're only getting about 10, 15 feet in front of you with perfect visibility, and then it's just vague shapes beyond that. But so you can probably, assuming you noticed him turn around, you can probably stay ahead of him and not really be noticed. It's more if you
Are we
kind
not
of
doing
decided...
this stalky thing? This is what's happening.
I don't know.
Because
I think
we were
BB was-
Drachert, so I'm assuming.
No, you and Toberius, I thought, went back to the hotel, didn't you?
Did we?
I
I
thought
thought we were going with
Yeah,
Drachert.
they were
I told-
following.
Well, then you should probably have to change the narrative a smidge, because I don't believe you guys all followed him for 3 hours walking around. Your
Yeah,
feet would hurt.
No, I asked BB to go after him. I didn't think we were following
Okay.
after
Oh,
BB.
Alright, we'll go back to
Yeah,
that.
I thought Tiberius and Tisa had kind of gone back to the hotel.
I just wanted to make sure Drax stayed safe and didn't do anything stupid.
This is why I left BB in charge of you guys. I can't trust you alone.
Why do you think I need to get rid of BB?
I can believe that BB would walk for 3 hours.
I can believe that BB would walk for
Yeah.
3 hours after Drachert.
And I would
Dutifully.
walk for 3 hours
That's
more.
more, but that would be it.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, that's all. Okay, so just to see if there's a chance for MIPHAP here, do a body perceive and search.
Ah, yes. Stat usage.
Ah, dice!
Sheet being open. Good idea.
Aha! Participating. Don't get killed, guys.
By whom?
I don't know. I've been on that beach before, and I can tell you that there was a plethora of bad shit.
Oh man, was it like Bikini Beach Party?
No, it was like Bikini Beach Party 5 with the bioprobe.
Oh.
And then the suddenly realizing, oh, none of us brought underwater suits to prevent that. Oh no! Why is it everything comes back to I need to have a pressurized spacesuit at all times?
Because the sea creates stories that make you want to lock yourself in a bubble, apparently. As long as the outside world can't touch me, I'll be okay.
So, sorry, what was the check you wanted me to do?
Body perceive.
Body perceive and search.
Alright.
I'm sneaking to the bathroom. Be right back.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it worked out well for me.
You nailed that. Congrats.
Symmetry.
Yeah. So you managed to notice him turning around in time to put distance between you and him, and are able to start heading back without being spotted.
Which is a feat, but at least I'm not as gigantic as him, I suppose.
It's true.
You're a tiny, insignificant ant in comparison now.
With a nice round, though. Of horns?
Haven't you heard about how well ants can take out rubber trees?
No.
Oh.
Sorry, that one was lost on me. Oh, I was like, do I have a rubber tree reference? I know a song vaguely akin to a rubber tree. Oh well. Alright, I need Sam. Sam is hiding. Sam, come back.
Try spinning.
Sam.
It works sometimes.
Sam.
Check.
Just call it really loudly. That'll work very well for her recording software.
Okay, well, while I'm waiting for Sam. BB and Drac will probably take another hour to get back to the building or so. Assuming they don't take transit of some kind, which is going to put it pretty close to the morning. By this point, people who were not attempting to wire themselves needlessly should probably be trying to get to sleep, as it has been a pretty long day, and it's going on like 4 a.m. Is there anybody who was trying to do otherwise?
I am.
You're
No.
not trying to do otherwise.
I don't know what BB did, but that was amazing.
I think technically I'd still be decently awake since I'd just woken up on the table by all
It
rights.
was, but I mean, it's like it's either that or you have to pull a 30-hour day the next day. So
Sure.
You can try to nap it off
Practicality.
until later.
Sleeping
Yeah.
is a good idea.
So Sam, as Penny is kind of pulling in along the coastline, the car will stop, and it doesn't stop in a power down kind of sound. It just sort of
Oh.
stops making noise and stops motioning. In a pretty dramatic sense, like to the point that you should have flown through the window or at least been caught by the seatbelt, but you don't. It's like
Okay.
all forward momentum ceases, and that's it. Just quiet. It was an automated vehicle. There's no driver.
All right, who did that?
No apparent answer.
Can I check the machine?
It does not seem to be responding. There's numbers on the screen and stuff, but none of them are moving. And when you press the buttons, nothing seems to happen.
Shit. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm being hacked or if it's. He says
Important
really,
question.
really, huh?
When she presses the button, does the button actually depress, and does it stay depressed? What actually?
Yeah, it's like tapping, an actual button. It pops out and depresses and all that. Oh no, it would be touchscreen. You don't get clicky keys this far into the future.
Damn it!
It just doesn't respond.
Does it respond? Okay, damn. Shit. Well, I guess I'm gonna get out of the car.
All right. You open the door. It doesn't make any noise as it opens.
Okay, I'm gonna look outside.
It's very misty. You can see kind of soft lights in the distance, and then way off in the distance is the city itself. But there's no noise in the air. You don't see any birds flying or anything like that. The vehicle appears to be wholly stationary, and when you close the door behind you, it doesn't make any sound.
Okay.
And it is there's no breeze on the air. It's just dead out.
I'm going to reach out and feel the transcendent thing. So I'll do my passive and do a community perceived search, I guess. And see if I can sense some sort of high cool activity in the area. Okay, well, I get a boon. You get 3 dice. 12. I have lots of points in search, and I have simplify.
Nice.
You reach out again, and as you begin the process, you kind of again feel it shut down, and as it clamps down on top of it, like you felt originally on Mercury, the fog around you shunts downward like somebody's opened a vacuum. Basically, just pushes the air down and flattens itself flat in this like sudden thrust of air, a sudden weight on top of you that drops the sensation down again, and it's there for a moment.
I actually had that moment where I actually kind of like, like when you're experiencing like something's about to come crashing down, she like almost momentarily like almost kind of like cowers from it because she's expecting the impact that's coming because it's that weird sensation.
It feels a little bit like you've been suddenly thrust up in an elevator, like you're pushed down from a sudden increase of gravity, and it lets up, and then the fog kind of drifts upward again. But for a brief moment, things were clear around you. Off in the distance, it was still in, but for about 50 feet in every direction, it was like it was depressed and then popped back up again. And then you hear the voice in your head that says, again, you reach for it. Why do you reach for it?
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Everything's weird around here, and that's the only way I can even try. I don't even know what it is that I'm doing. I'm trying to understand. I don't know what's going on. I'm very confused.
What are you attempting to perceive?
Why is everything stopped? I mean, are you doing this? I don't know if you're doing something or if somebody else is doing something. It's not something my senses understand at all. So I'm trying to grasp something that is not following what would be normal for us.
And you would commune with it to get that answer.
Immune with what?
If your senses cannot perceive this answer themselves, why would reaching out with them help?
I have an implant that lets me. I had a thing when I was. I don't really understand what you're saying. I don't. I thought there was just something I could do that was different from other people.
Oh. And there's this kind of feeling of associated. It's not like joy, but it's a weird kind of realization that actually kind of ripples through the fog. You can see it animate a little bit as though something's occurred to it. You don't understand what you're asking.
I don't. I don't think a lot of people know what the right question is. I'm trying to guess.
Your body possesses no means of receiving this information.
So,
when you reach, you are requesting it of other creatures that can. There is only one creature that can answer that. And among the
is it the thing that messed with my reflection?
There's a kind of rippling in the fog again, and a kind of serpentine glyph kind of pops up.
No.
Like it's swirling around.
No.
Various eyes kind of appear from the side of it and stuff, and it hovers in front of you like this large kind of coiling mask. It says, "This is who you're asking."
I don't even know what that is. I'm assuming I don't know what that is. Out of character, I know what that is, and my brain is screaming, no.
You probably don't, because it's not something that's associated in there, but you are getting a feeling from it. And it's one that basically is saying that while you're reaching out with your senses, you're not like opening your ears to hear something. You're basically requesting information of somebody who can hear because you don't have the ability to. And apparently whatever entity it is that you are requesting information of is portrayed in front of you. And the voice follows up with, "This should be perceived as enemy."
I didn't even know that I was doing that. I don't have any feedback of what I'm doing. It's just like trying to feel when you don't have the ability to. I don't work on your level. I won't do it anymore if that's a bad thing. Is that the thing that messed with my reflection? Is that the thing that attacked when I was a kid?
Your vocabulary is inadequate to form your request. I will help you.
What?
And then you're suddenly flying on the ground again.
Shit! And there I go.
And it's again tossed up to the ceiling, and you're sort of above the city again. But you can see your body being flayed out to the side as it's kind of taken apart. And the ideas that you were trying to form of, I want to sense a thing. I want to understand if there is like a heightened transcendent level in the area, is taken, but you gain an extra little bit of understanding by it in order to find out how much understanding. Let's do a thing. So do a mind perceive, and I think we're going to do logic. Mind perceive and logic?
Mind perceive and logic. Okay, well, I will have you know, I have a simplify for that. Hey! Unfortunately, it is not a thing that I have great amounts of stuff for. Damn it, Ellie! I should have done the 4 dice in mind perceive! Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's see. It's a 10. 3. And I have a simplify. Oh, that's not good, though.
No, the fact that you have a simplify is good.
Yep, simplify makes that an 8, right?
You get an 8. It's not going to be all that enlightening, but it's a success. So you realize that it's pulling the concept from you, but it occurs to you that the issue why you seem to be having so much trouble sort of relating what it is you wanted is because the sort of specificity that it wants is just way too big for conversation. Like it wants to know the exact emotional state that you're seeking for, how much your sweat glands are dilating while you're asking, how much energy is in your particular voice. It's down to just nanoscopic levels of data for the exact need. so that there can be no confusion in the request, basically, for what you're trying to get. And it seems to extract that by pulling your mind apart and then puts it back together again. And then you're kind of left panting on the pavement again with the...
Why are you doing this? Why are you out here?
I'm learning.
But you already know so much. Why? What is there to learn?
I know so little.
Well, what do you like to get called? I mean, they told me that your name is Visitor. Is that what you like?
Sense again.
I like how he doesn't answer my question.
I'll just sense again.
All right, fine. I will try to sense again.
See you, sense again.
All right, sense again, as you say. Okay, I'll try again. I'm assuming you actually want me to do it again?
Yeah, just roll it again.
Alright. We'll do 3D. D12. 4. Simplify. It's not that great, but that's probably about as good as I am. Yeah.
There is kind of a swirling feeling in the fog again. And it goes, your request is not identical to before, but I understand it. And then the feeling comes in, one that you felt from before the
cool level area.
Yeah, and it's fairly familiar. It feels like it's got a different flavor to it. It's way less complicated, to the point that like you hadn't really realized how broad the original sensation was before. Before it was just like it felt natural. It felt like using your own senses to reach out someplace and hear a sound or something like that. Just comes in, your mind translates it, and it's all great.
It's all noise, and it just gets
great. This is a really freaking bad radio with a signal that's pulling out of Mexico that's got freaking like fuzz and static and barely makes any sense, and you can kind of tell what's going on, but it really drives home how inferior it is compared to the signal you had before. And you do get the idea that whatever this creature is, it is now providing the translation of your feeling, whereas before you were reaching out to something else. And for the life of it, it sounds like you've gotten the raw end of the deal, because it really doesn't seem to be nearly as good at it.
It's a far less terrifying entity, so that's thumbs up.
It's probably better that I'm not talking to that thing that I know that is out of character. Okay, so yeah.
But it is giving you a feeling of it, and yeah, the place seems alive with transcendent energy.
That works. Is there anything I can help you learn, or help you find somebody to help you learn?
I am curious about this.
Okay, well, we'll work on that. I'm Penny, by the way. I guess you kind of know that.
Hello, Penny.
Hello. What did he say? Walk?
Yep.
I'll walk.
You will be walking for some time.
You are
stuck in a little bit of a kind of pocket dimension for the moment. So we'll hop back over to other people else as morning is coming. Penny did not come home. Actually, do it. No, she will. She'll be there by the time that you guys get back to it. But at the moment, we're going to play with a little bit of time dilation. So Penny is getting breakfast.
Okay. Penny is frazzled and getting breakfast and not
Penny
talking to anybody.
Getting breakfast. You're going to have an interesting evening, Penny, but it isn't life-threatening, so congratulations.
Okay. I lived through the night.
You will have a frazzled look about you, yeah.
Yes.
We'll hop back to it in a second, but you're there. You didn't really get much sleep. You do seem tired, but it's an emotional tiredness more than physical tiredness, because it didn't seem like any part of your body actually decayed during that period. Mm-hmm. So you were there getting food as everybody else is getting up. Tisa, you saw her come in. I don't know if she would necessarily still be talking about crazy space aliens to you anymore, or if she's caught on that you don't believe her.
I think she might just start keeping shit to herself at this point. After the thing on the roof last night. Yeah.
So
she probably is going to, when she gets there, give a half-assed excuse that her Uber broke down and her toggle was out of battery, and she had to walk.
My Uber was out of battery and my toggle broke down.
Yeah.
So by then everybody else should get to pretty much the same level of location and kind of waking up around the same time. It's, I don't know, 10 or so in the morning on the following day. And your standing orders are pretty much like they were before. It's fine work for the time being, and also to sort of check back if you hear anything else from this other team, but not pursue it individually because you're just not currently equipped for it.
Marvelous. Good morning, boys and girls.
Hello.
I just kind of look over at her because she is sounding way too cheerful. It's still morning. How can you be so cheerful?
It's all the same to me, dear.
Oh. Okay.
How's the face? She's going to come over and start inspecting Toberius's face.
Tendrils start slapping it.
My face is fine, even though I haven't. You stop pulling my. I haven't had a chance to grind down my teeth yet.
Well, it seems to be healed very nicely.
Okay, it's only fair if you're going to do this. Look at this picture real quick, and I'm going to flash up on my holo display the snapshot of the access site with the cipher on it.
The one that is just so that you've got a bunch of different indications of potential closet societies here. There isn't just a one.
No, I said I had taken a screenshot of one of their access sites that had the ciphers on it, kind of like the picture we had from last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just throwing it up to see if her little one reacts.
There doesn't seem to be any particular additional character around at the moment.
Okay. Well, it looks like we can eliminate this group, and I close it down.
Certainly, dear. She'll give him a pat before, disengaging from the conversation swiftly.
Why are all the people around me crazy?
He's allowed to make a parting comment. Moving out of.
That's true.
We're moving out of conversation range.
BB, did you sleep well?
Oh, can't complain.
Good. How about you, Drachert? Are you holding
Benton
up?
is actually legitimately incapable of complaints.
I unfortunately woke up a few times. I seem to be having nightmares.
If you need anything for that, do tell me. Yes.
Is like last time. Just have to work through it, I think.
Sure. Reach up and pat his forearm.
Meantime, she's going, I have an entire box of sedatives they gave me. I'm going to drug somebody.
And what about you, Penny dear? Did you get enough rest after your night of misfortune?
Yes, I'm fine.
Oh, good. Well, so everyone's marvellous. Shall we look for some more work today, or do we want to take a bit of downtime?
I have a lead that we need to follow.
Oh, lead. What kind of lead?
Somebody Aiden clued me into that we should talk to.
Ooh. Do we have much information about this person?
They were previously a part of our team.
Another one?
She nods.
Huh.
I had concerns that I voiced in a recent report regarding last night's events. I apologize if I hadn't conveyed them to the rest of you. She says very tired, kind of holding her head. We clearly are missing part of our dynamic. We need leadership. We need direction. We are very good at respecting each other very well, but no one is very good at stepping up and taking a lead. And she's like rubbing her head, and she goes,
You're quite right, dear.
I brought this up with them, and after giving an evaluation of each of us, I don't think any of us is qualified. Apologies, I think very well of everyone here, but I also do not think we have what it takes to focus on what needs to get done. So Lynn was previously our team lead, but this person was our team lead when Lynn was out. So, and so when Lynn was on a break, this person would fill in as a substitute. So they're the best chance we have. Unfortunately,
So they know us.
They know us. They know us very well, which I think might help.
From how many years ago?
I don't know exactly. The main thing is they knew us, or a version of us, and they know what we're capable of and possibly how our minds will work. The other thing is they were let go due to being a security risk concern.
And yet they're being recommended again?
Yes, apparently there are possible mitigating circumstances of why they might not be now. The other thing I was told is we are authorized to inform them that they may be able to come back as a full member of Blackwatch. She kind of shrugs. I can show you the recording I have from Aiden if you really need to see it. But I'll forward her contact information to everybody.
I'm sure you feel this in enough.
My head is just. I feel like I've just been to pieces all night.
Do you need some more rest, dear?
I am beside myself.
I am beside myself and all over the place. I might need a couple minutes this morning to myself, if that's alright with you guys. Just kind of collect myself. I might.
How about we head out this afternoon for this, and you get some rest first?
I'm gonna take one of those vents that I was given. Tisa, can you help me make sure I get the dosage right?
Of course, darling.
Thank you.
Before everyone breaks up and goes to separate rooms, kind of news. For the time being, don't use the term Blackwatch in public settings.
Oh yes,
Blackwatch.
I don't really.
Who we work for?
I really think that team name is really kind of dumb. I was actually thinking maybe we should petition to have like a better one. Like
You shut your whore mouth.
I don't think.
It sounds like it was written by some sort of filthy
why don't
Hanzo
we call
maid.
ourselves something like Overwatch or something?
Yeah, that sounds much more. I don't know. Has a better
I
ring
don't
to
know.
it.
That's kind of what my job is.
Really is regrettable that I forgot that those were correlated.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think that there was any point where we should ever refer to the people we work for in any kind of a public setting. I know we did tell the strange group last night, but we were kind of doing a bit of a risk for information.
Yeah,
I do think we should make sure that we keep in good contact with our handlers about that particular group, because it is quite likely that they could be related to the people who got us killed.
Well, why don't we sort out your dosage, and I'll fill you in on my daughter and apparently other potentially dead children that I didn't know about.
I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop and find out that we all have had these lovely families for the last 10 years that we're completely separated from.
Toby's trying to say something.
Sorry, Toby.
As for handlers, who are our handlers? Because I have yet to receive a response from Aiden and Keel, and this Agent Smith is pardon me, but I really want to kind of shoot him.
That's just very unfortunate for you to hold.
Shouldn't do that.
I would really disadvise
he just kind of rubs me the absolute wrong way.
I would say, Toberius, if we manage to wrangle, and I'm going to wave my strangely active toggle after everything I said earlier with the person's contact information on it, and go, after we talk to this person, I believe that this is who we'll be reporting to directly.
I'm actually reaching out and trying to grab the information off her toggle.
No, I already forwarded it to everybody. Get your own. Nope,
technology.
Mine. It's off my
Come on,
phone.
come on.
Well,
can
did
make
you
it
manage to
better.
turn it off and on again, dear?
Your butterfingers will fudge my tiny screen. Leave me alone. All right. Well, I'm gonna go get my.
He's that doesn't.
Go Penny to sort her puff dosage out.
My puff dosage. set up.
While helping her sort the puff dosage out, also saying, you could just take a little bit of a nap instead.
Jab sedative.
Well, I guess a nap wouldn't help or would help.
She does
Yes,
seem awfully tired.
We can we can head out this afternoon. It won't hurt to delay by a couple of hours if you want to get a bit of sleep.
Okay. Maybe
It's
I'll.
much more healthy for you. These
Alright.
puffs, they'll frazzle your mind.
Well, it's not a puff. I was gonna take the thing to the dead.
The vent.
It's the anti-kill bloom stuff.
The anti-kill bloom shit. Penny
In
wants.
that case, it's
Penny wants to take that.
What is this?
All right, so you're gonna start looking at it. Oh, this looks like
Yes.
something weird. Penny, have you been
No.
taking this a lot lately?
Penny, darling, how known is this stuff to you?
Not particularly well. It's only available to people who are upper kill manifestation anyway. So unless you
Penny.
had research in that area,
Are you taking drugs?
No, this will be my
are you
first
on the
time.
pack, dear? You can tell me. I'm hip.
This will be my first time. Smith gave it to me. He told me to take it if things got a little too
Smith?
far. Yeah.
I am the hip with the kids.
What exactly is this for? I've never seen this before.
It's to keep me from manifesting at higher levels of my implant.
Oh, it's mage stuff, is it?
Yeah, it's mage medication. It's supposed to deaden me a little bit to the wild world outside.
Unfortunately, I am not sure what dosage of this you're supposed to take.
Oh, well, unfortunately, they gave me this giant fucking syringe.
Do you have some kind of hang on? Smith's still in orbit, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know exactly if their ship is somehow still landed.
Her little keyboard comes up and she's calling up Smith. Well, Yodish.
He will respond.
Oh, hello.
Oh, Tisa. How is everything going over there?
It's rocky, but nothing to worry about. Penny, however, is feeling very rough. Some sort of transcendent malady. I don't know. Don't know what dosage of this. What is this even called? We've got some file here of this transcendent fixie stuff.
Oh, the vent. Oh, for her size. I'll send you over a dosage chart.
Thank you very much.
Is she all right then?
She seems to have had a rough night, a broken down cab, and just a bit rest of sleep. She wants Penny, dear.
Yeah.
Why do you feel so rough?
It's just, I think they didn't sleep very well, and I had a very active mind last night. It's just, the shadow thing just really got to me. I think I have a
But she
bit
seems
of a,
quite alright after the encounter, so why do you need this?
I just would feel much better, I know I've been a little off lately, and you seemed a little concerned, so I thought I'd just take a precaution.
Is this okay to take when there doesn't seem to be any immediate apparent need, Mrs. Smith?
It's typically down to the discretion of the user, but I would recommend staying away from the public view while you're using it.
Okay, well, if you could forward that information, thank you very much. I'm sorry to bother you.
Sure, just keep an eye on her, and
I'll
if she seems too tired, just...
I'll have another report for you later, sir. If you're
Oh,
around.
thank you. Yeah, they're very useful. Why don't you get some rest, Penny?
Yeah.
I'll make sure she does, and she'll close off the screen. Okay, let's put up the dosage information.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she'll,
Oh, that's gonna be my
she'll
first character to take drugs in a game ever.
She'll fix up a dose of it, and okay, you'll take this. You'll stay in here. Do you need anything to help you rest, or are you going to be okay with that?
No, I think I should just be really alone. I think that's really good. You know,
Okay.
just
This
really,
is the miss-
really alone. You know.
Of course. All right, let's administer this to you.
And that's when the screaming begins. Things do start to get pretty trippy pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But you'll have a little while there while you're kind of like getting nervous about what this is supposed to do to you. And it gives you an opportunity to reflect on the kind of night before a little bit. As you were wandering through this kind of frozen mist, your invisible compatriot wasn't the most talkative, but he sort of chose when he did and didn't want to respond to you. And it wasn't always a dodging of questions thing. It was more of whether or not he felt the question was relevant. Didn't seem to volunteer information beyond that. So one of the things that you sort of discerned was that bargaining with him for I'll tell you this if you tell me that thing just wasn't really a game that he played.
I didn't actually try to do that. I just asked, and then if I didn't get an answer, I'm not withholding from him because he could get the freaking answer if he wants it. There's never bargaining was an option there.
But after about an hour of walking through this kind of frozen landscape, and realizing that the light hadn't shifted, none of the cars are moving, none of the people were moving, they were all just kind of standing there. It sort of occurs to you that as a means of trying to learn through observation, it doesn't seem to do much good if everything's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can present that to him if you want to, or just kind of leave it.
So, I know you're trying to learn everything, but and I don't understand what you're trying to learn. I think you have an idea of what you want to know, and you're trying to get there, but it doesn't seem like keeping me in a very controlled, frozen environment is actually going to give you proper information, because part of my existence is a lot of variables and constantly shifting and moving in the world. Do you understand that?
Correct.
Damn, he's weird like this.
Cool, we got an understanding.
Okay, so why is everything stopped?
This is not my doing.
Who is it?
Do you wish to see?
Is it an answer that I'm not going to enjoy?
Let's find out.
Oh, okay.
And,
Well, let's find out.
He turns you
And this is why Penny comes home and wants drugs.
to walk down toward the coast. And as you move closer in that direction toward the water, you start to pick up actual movement that you hadn't seen before up to that point. And it's movement through the fog out over the water out beyond the coastline.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems a little bit like air pushing the fog around at first.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get a little closer, the kind of immensity of the shape that's out there comes to view, and you can't really pick out details from it other than that it's pushing a tremendous amount of air around. But it's huge. It's larger than the city is. And as you kind of get closer to it, it's sort of foreboding presence can be felt from many miles away. Until you eventually get to the coastline, assuming you want to go that far.
Freaking Eldrazi's.
Yeah. It does seem to have a lot of kind of asymmetrical limbs to it and stuff, but it's shrouded over, and there's not very little detail you can get from it other than that it is the only thing that you've seen moving so far. And that a lot of it seems to be reaching out toward the city. It isn't really touching anything, but it's getting close. And the areas that are grazing the coastline, with the fog that's kind of emanating off of it, seem like they're decaying things. And it's, again, the only shapes that are moving. So the mist on everything else is frozen. But as it's pushing air and stuff, it's caressing cars and going against buildings, and it feels like this malaise that kind of eats away at the side of the coastline.
I don't understand what I'm looking at. Is that an entity?
It is of me. Not me specifically, but the greater me. I don't know it myself.
So it's another Nephilim?
Correct.
You don't know all the Nephilim?
I hope to.
I hope you do too.
It continues to exist off kind of in the distance, but there's a sudden flourish of light that is the first kind of technical colored thing that you've seen so far. This brilliantly vibrant shape that's down on the water far away. You're up kind of on an upper area right now, like a cliff, but down directly on the coastline by the water is this really kind of vibrant blue and magenta shape about the size of a standard person, levitating off the shore a little bit, and you can catch glimpses of, looks like multiple tendrils that are kind of coming off of it, but it is more symmetrical in its form than the thing that it's looking at, and is kind of reaching out to it. And
Penny's kind of like locked in like this. She had that brief like apprehension where like fear like creeped briefly into the mind, and then evaporated because Penny's mind is working on this is wondrous, you know.
It's very, very luminous. It's the only vibrant shape that's been in the fog all this time. Like the neon lights and stuff from the city are all shrouded over and deadened in color. Everything feels like it's in this frozen thing, but this thing is alive and vibrant and kind of terrifying in how vivid it is. But it looks like a person. It looks like a vector. It's tough to get any details out of it from your current vantage point, other than that it has a vaguely female shape and apparently large multiple appendages coming off the back, and is just kind of very colorful around the land and is reaching out to the side. And the voice that is with you goes, "That's new."
That is kind of new. So they're the ones that have made everything stop?
It has. I don't know what that is.
Do you want to check it out more?
I don't believe you would survive.
Hostile?
Let's find out.
Oh.
And you feel yourself start walking down there again.
Well, here we go.
And as you kind of come around the corner, begin descending from the mountaintop, there is a sudden shift of the head, just enough that you can catch eyes that are this kind of brilliant shining white that's coming from behind them, look off in your direction and fixate on you like the Eye of Sauron, like this kind of beam that's in your direction.
Yeah.
And that is when the fog kind of lifts, and you can hear cars moving again, and everything else is moving normally again. The shape is gone. The monstrous form off over the water is gone. And folks are kind of walking around, and you've noticed that a couple hours have gone by, and it's time to basically get back to camp. But the presence seems to be missing.
Okay, I guess our adventure's over. Okay, I'm gonna get back home then.
That is essentially what happens to you for that evening. The course of what you're walking probably took quite a while. Like you were out there for 4 or 5 hours. That much time didn't seem to pass, but there is a weird dilation. According to what you perceived, nothing moved, so it should have been, exactly the same amount of time as like when the thing had frozen. The cab hadn't moved or anything else like that. But when you check the clock or something, it does seem like several hours have passed. So via weird loopage, there is an extent where the timeline has proceeded, regressed, and proceeded again. And keeping track of what happened there is not really. It might be a local bubble that did it, or it might have gone off.
Did not pass.
Yeah,
Penny will on
it's
the
possible
rest of
that you are
her.
now a couple hours behind the rest of the universe, depending on how far out that was.
Penny is going to make sure to using eidetic memory. I can use it 3 times a session to record everything she can remember over that last little interlude. Make sure she gets a report started and like basically.
You were able to get a
flesh it out.
very vivid picture of the thing that you were looking at.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to try and like record as much of the interaction with me and Visitor as possible, and then I'm intending to brush it up a little bit more before I send it to Smith after I wake up.
As you were beginning, did you sedate yourself too, or did you just take the vent?
I'm just going to take the vent.
Or you didn't want to do the sedation too?
Not until after I might after I make sure I send the report.
Okay. Well, you were gonna start sending the report, but that's when the eyes start appearing on your hands and stuff like that.
Okay. So the screaming will start,
The
and then the sedation will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the vent will be applied, and she's not going to leave for a few minutes because you don't leave immediately after applying a dosage of a chemical you don't understand to
Are
somebody.
you gonna leave after the eyeball appears in the back of her head?
Is it actually appearing?
Things do start to happen because the vent takes the stuff that's normally vented through the mind and vents it through the body instead. And in the case of manifestation, she's going to start manifesting things that are peculiar, like extra fingers and stuff will just kind of cycle in and out.
The hand is basically going to go from like 5 fingers to 10, and then back to 7.
Through like the guide.
And then there's actually just going to be this high-pitched screaming that starts.
Like her tail will. Oh, she doesn't have a tail. She's
I have a tail. I have a little nub. It's just it'll briefly go to a big tail though.
It's she'll have a hand upward and then she'll reach out with the hand towards something else, but the hand won't leave her head. There will just be a new hand for a moment, and then it will rejoin the first one. Things like that will occur.
Does this guide say anything about this sort of thing?
There is no real guide.
There's big red letters at the very top. Caution: weird things do occur.
And how does
Really?
Penny seem to be handling this?
So unless she takes like immediate view of it, this is actually just a different way of venting what happens to her normally in her head. So it actually kind of seems natural. But if she takes note of it or something, it'll seem less natural. It's just sort of at default.
So Sam, how is Penny reacting to this?
Well, see, Penny's just had one of those nights where she has this and then after a while she's just like this is I don't even know anymore.
Darling, are you okay?
I don't like it. I don't want to take
you
it
like to go to
anymore.
sleep?
Don't want to take it anymore.
It's fucking set of shit.
That's the last squeak out of hers. And then I'm out.
Tuck her in. Tisa will call down to the others, say, go get lunch or something. I'm just going to stay here with Penny for a bit. The toggle.
Oh, okay. Do you want anything?
No, dear. But thank you for asking.
I wanted a donut.
Do me a favor, though. Pick up something for Penny to eat. And, we'll keep.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I will, because this is supposed to happen right before these are generally used right before a genetic catastrophe. So when she's not doing anything, it's actually not going to react all that much. But things are happening from time to time.
Yeah.
Like, definitely weird stuff.
Just staying there to keep an eye on her. More because it's sensitive now than anything, but you know.
Allie's like, I don't know if I did that dosage right. I like to think that right now you're sending your message off to Smith.
By half, not by thirds. Oh dear.
You're sending off your message. So sedated Penny for the first time.
But you will observe, occasional weirdness like eyes and stuff.
I'll do some light
pop
reading
up.
in the meantime.
As you're watching, you will find yourself accompanied by another watcher that you notice after a moment.
Oh no.
Glancy glance.
The
Yeah,
child.
the child that has been manifested from time to time.
I hope you're enjoying this show.
Has the look as though it's sat and watched this before. The breakfast team. Where do you all want to go for breakfast? Sam has transferred the data for the person you're supposed to be looking for, right?
Yep, I transfer that to everybody else.
And I'm actually hunting right now.
Okay. Easy to find, actually. She was leading the IRPF contingent in this area for a long time. Is currently on a sort of what's the word?
Leave of absence.
No, it's consulting. No longer active duty. But is brought in to
Still in
consult
contact.
essentially. Yeah, for RPF. Goes by Rio.
Oh, fuck.
Was the contact that you were given. Yeah, ran the area around here for a long time, but due to, according to her dossier, due to career change, basically decided to go into kind of reserve. So is not currently running this precinct, but tends to be down at that station because they have her do specific stuff because of her experience.
Oh, well. I'm just kind of chiming. Found her!
I think with you are
BB and Drax.
yeah, BB.
So, the friend that we're supposed to be looking for, I think I've already managed to find her. She's really not that hard to find.
That doesn't make job easier.
Yeah. Only problem. We have to go back to the IRPF precinct.
Why?
She's a consultant.
To be fair, that isn't a very big problem.
Toberius actually stops and listens for gunfire and explosions in the distance.
Well, there might be to a mind body perceive and search.
Does this mean that he hears it?
You hear gunfire in the distance.
Doesn't mean it exists, just that you
Doesn't
hear
mean
it.
it exists.
Or that it is all related to your current situation, just that somebody somewhere is being shot.
We know there's a gun range in the city.
It's true.
Yeah, there's a great gun range. Daydreamer learned so much at that gun range. I was so angry.
That was such a great day for Pint.
Why did you take my child to a gun range, Joey?
Because it was the easiest way to do something. It also cemented Tankard's position as favorite uncle.
And then you stopped being a vector anymore.
Right up until you left this mortal coil.
It's another traumatizing event in Daydream's life. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
That doesn't sound right. She's only in lighthearted campaigns.
So we could probably, while Penny is napping,
I'm down for the count, guys.
well, we're just assumed we don't know that.
Yeah, there was nothing said about her napping. Just spending some time together.
No, Toberius is assuming she's going to be put down for a nap by Tisa. It's just like, dear, you're tired. Go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. Go to sleep. But while those two are doing whatever they're doing, I say we go try to track down our mutual friend and try to arrange a meeting.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yes, it does. So, what do you say we go now? Get it over and done with?
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
You can either go directly to the RPF, or you can try to figure out like more about her kind of daily habits or where she can be found.
If she's only a consultant, she may not actually be in the precinct.
Or if she's on assignment.
True. I'm going to try and track down that information if I can.
She's currently on the beach dancing.
No, she's in the
No,
sand dancing.
she's on the beach having a fight with a freaking Nephilim.
Do mind exert and computer.
Ooh.
So glad I'm not the only one.
Okay,
who's
so
thinking
I
of
have
that,
got
right?
to do different numbers. Mind exert plus computer.
I think that it's not so much that you were thinking it because of that song. It's just at regular occasions you're thinking Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Well, have we established
that's-
what kind of vector this character is?
Oh, right, you weren't in that. Rio's a repeat character. She's shown up before. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
wolf.
Ah,
It's a wolf with
In fact,
atypical
of the three
pattern.
people who are here, who are in
She's
the
an
group looking for her,
atypical pattern
Only Toby
wolf.
knows anything about her.
I know her. Anyway, she's an atypical pattern wolf.
I was saying out of me, Toby, and Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but she's an
Because I
atypical.
wasn't even around when you guys encountered her originally.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were able to find out a few things about the overall patterning. She does usually go down to the precinct in the mornings, because that's where she's kind of getting most of her assignments. But she is typically out in the field. She doesn't tend to hang out there anymore because if she's either off doing her own thing or she's on assignment. So that would be a good place to begin to find out where she is currently.
Wait, pause 1 second. Out of character. Rio's not in charge anymore?
Yeah, that's what they said. Is that
She
she
retired.
Holy
retired essentially.
shit. Okay, go continue, sorry.
And that's been another 10 years. And as you've just kind of discovered, she apparently had a side gig. So,
Yeah.
or started one anyway, about 3 years ago. So,
I can work with Rio, she picks on micros.
which is about the same time that you can kind of put it together, because because I guess you didn't have that information because that was kind of pre-game show stuff. But yeah, about 3 years ago when the new person was showing up is about the same time that she went on reserve in this particular thing. So for the past 3 years or so, she's been kind of on a consulting basis. So the other place that she could conceivably be is she's got a house that's in the downtown that might be at publicly listed residence there in an IRPF owned building. Not too surprising because she probably has a few enemies. So she's got kind of a safe house there. Nice little retirement place. And she owns a boat. That's about it. So possibly the docks as well.
Given it's basically an RPF sales, it probably wouldn't be the best idea to show up at the house going, "Hello!"
Well, I mean, you can go there
How
and
are
like
you?
buzz.
Why is that a
buzz. You can go on there and
On
like,
the
get each
bright
other's
side,
hotel,
she apparently
right?
worked with us, so when you show up, she'll be like, "Hey, Drac!" Right?
Or she'll shoot you like all your other.
Yeah, we don't know how it ended, so.
To be fair, like my ex-wife, one of them is a good friend. The other one tried to kill me. Well, succeeded in killing me.
You'll be in her house investigating, then a car will pull up.
Oh man,
Rio will
we're
step out with
gonna
her
find
rocket
out you
launcher,
married
fire up the
Rio.
house.
I want this to be true. You married Rio. Let's hope this is true.
Oh, she and a squirrel.
No, but there's 10 years in there.
Well, let's go try and find her.
Okay, we go try.
Right
Where
now
do you
would be
want
the
to
best time to
begin?
check with the precinct house.
Precinct house.
Precinct house.
And so I guess we're going to go trottling off to the IRPF building.
Do you have to trottle? Can you saunter?
Yeah, I was gonna say for
Yep.
I don't
two of
recommend
the three
taking the
people
unmanned
doing this, it
vehicles
does not
because
seem
one
right.
crashed last night with nobody in it.
Really?
You managed to throw the Uber for a loop there, Sam. Typically, they don't allow you to get out of the thing before you pay. It's otherwise they just shuttle you directly off to the precinct. It's like,
Yeah.
how did they get out?
It's okay. I'm pretty sure my credit card information was
There's
already in
currently a
there.
missing persons case.
Okay, you guys can head off
The entire
toward
door
that
was
direction.
disassembled and arranged into its pieces, stretched up from the spot.
You can head off in that direction toward the RPF. What do you want to do sort of when you get there? Did you have a particular approach, or do you just want to go in and ask to see her?
Yeah. I'm just going to walk on up to the desk, which is... I assume this is going to be one of those desks that's sitting fairly high up.
Yeah, there's the same person that you saw there previous time, this golden retriever chick that was there, is going to be watching and waving, basically, all to new folks and taking in names and all that good stuff. So you saw her briefly when she was associating with Tisa. Says, hello, what can I help you with?
Hi, we're looking for Rio. Is she here?
Oh, did you have an appointment?
Not really, but we used to work with her.
Really? When was this?
We really can't answer that.
Huh. Well,
NDAs and all that.
I'll go ahead and what's her name?
Toberius?
Okay.
I am
and
Drachert.
Hi, Drachert. You are large.
I've heard that
would you
many
like
times.
a donut?
Are you yes. she says, giving up.
But yes.
Taking. This seems like it's a slight against cops, but that's a great donut. I'm taking this.
It's just like looks over and he's got like 8 donuts already ready.
Yeah.
He has 2 boxes.
And as she is taking the donut, and she breaks it in half and hands part of it to a little kind of hyena-looking kid next to her who's spinning around in a chair. Appears to be bring one of your children to work day.
Be careful spinning. You can sometimes get sick if you do too much of that.
But it's a good trick! And he spins around a lot. And takes the
Reminds
donut.
me of my 4th son.
Oh, we've only got the 2. Careful, this one bites. And
I am used to that. I have
Aw,
family
it's cute because
So
the one without the
So does
fangs
the
like
other one,
fights.
and my husband.
and couple birds and couple squirrels.
I thought didn't Lucky say they had 2? There's like a
Yeah,
boy
they
and a
have
girl?
2. They have a boy and a girl.
Mhm.
One of them has the fangs and one of them doesn't. The one that doesn't have the fangs is the biter.
So it's consuming the donut. The other one's off of Blackie's character right now. He's wandering around in a different mentality. So she will basically give a ring over to a back office and present the names. And she gets this kind of quizzical look on her face, like, yeah, sure, I'll have him wait here. And puts it down and says, if you guys could just wait over there for a second, she's on her way.
Okay. By the way, cute kid.
Oh, thanks. I got another one just like it. Bigger teeth, though.
Bigger.
And
And there's just that moment where the ears go straight up. Bigger teeth?
Right about then, charging kind of out from the back room, and a somewhat concerned-looking expression on her face is this tall, very good-looking wolf with not wearing RPF uniform this time around. Just kind of has civilian clothes on, but like shirt and jeans sort of thing. And a jacket, but very, very vibrant fur. Has a typical patterning morphism from the looks of it, and this blue hair that's on there. And there's a gun like inches from her hand, like she's ready to shoot whoever is over here claiming to be this person, because they could be bad news. But she looks up across the room toward the ones on against the wall and sees you all there, and recognizes Toberius and BB. Doesn't recognize the other one immediately. You still ended up with a backpack, right? You just got the other hooves, right? Oh, but you were
Yeah.
here again. Yeah, so mostly the same, as long as she doesn't look immediately toward the feet.
It should be really easy to tell it's him because his
Yeah,
face
the
is
face
easier
is
to see
huge.
from farther away.
To be
And
fair,
she's
it's
like-
probably
He
the
might have
exact
boots
same
on.
Why are you so
last
much closer
time.
than the rest of them?
Drachert is close. Everyone else is far away.
She goes, "My God, you're alive."
I'm waving. Want
Oh, of
to get
course.
lunch? We need to talk.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Oh, hi there.
Hello, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm BB.
Good.
Would you like
That's
a
cool.
donut?
This has been an odd day. I'll be right back.
Pierce is looking at her and just nodding.
I just like how she called
Gotta
you
give the
Ben,
small
like it was
chuckle.
like some refined name. She doesn't understand you're still at BB.
Jack gives a very slow chuckle when she says it's been a weird day. Says, you are not knowing the half of it.
So is that a no?
She, the
Yes,
character
maybe.
at the desk who sees her going by, she goes, "Wow, I don't think I've really seen her that flustered before."
We do that.
How did you? Do you know her? Or I mean, yeah, obviously you know her, but she's worked here for I want to say 20 years. I don't recall ever seeing you before.
Again, I would love to talk about it. Unfortunately, I can't.
Oh man, why are you? Don't do this to the conspiracy nut! Don't do this!
No, more. Don't do this to the person that has an immense amount of power.
She
Jack actually looks over and
nods a
goes,
little bit and kind of
"It's a long
like
time."
chews on a pencil for a second as Rio comes back around to the front, zipping up a jacket and ushering you outside to the front, going, "Go over here. It's good to see you again, I suppose."
Bye. As I'm waving to the Labrador.
She waves, and then the kid who's behind the desk waves vigorously while spinning.
I'm waving vigorously back at him.
Is it the girl or the boy? Because if it's the girl,
Someone pulls out
it's
the
the
chair.
little Labrador with the huge fangs. If it's the
Nah,
boy,
it's the
if it's the boy,
hyena.
it's the little hyena without the huge fangs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a face full of donuts. So the hand is spinning as the child rotates as well, and she will kind of get you out, walking onto the coastline because this was a coastal station basically, so down toward the boats essentially. And she goes, "Did you?"
Before you start, real quick bits of information that you need to know. 1, you know us. 2, we do not know you. 3, we are 10 years behind.
10 years
Right.
behind?
And no memory.
Oh, so I should change my toggle then?
No, BB, you're fine. You're fine. I have the
everything
settings
okay.
set. Everything's good.
But you said that we're 10
No,
years.
It's a
BB?
long story.
BB, everything's cool.
No,
What's
I
wrong
don't
with you?
know. It's pretty warm out here.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
actually,
BB.
you're right. But with those 3 things in mind, Rio, A and K suggested we come and talk to you.
She kind of runs her hands through her hair, going, "Why? I thought I had been severed from this particular organization."
Well, the little bit of information I got is supposedly the old man who was the old man is no longer the old man, and you are no longer the security risk that they thought you were, and apparently the other security risk isn't so much.
I'm no longer. She chuckles a little bit as she thinks about that. I'm no longer the security risk. Oh, that's something.
But here's the problem. The reason they're asking us to ask you is currently we are down leadership, and there is a bigger issue. And unfortunately, our team is, like I said, a little behind in the times, and we are not as cohesive as we were.
We are
None
very
of
good
you
at
said
being
didn't
pointed
survive
at
the
stuff
blast?
and fixing problems. We are not so good at deciding what the problem is.
Yeah.
So Len and Tisa didn't survive the blast then.
Yeah, that's a little harder to explain. Let's keep walking. The further away from surveillance gear, the better.
She's actually moved you down the dock line. She's bringing you toward a boat that she apparently owns. So it's just like an unregistered thing that she keeps at the police dock.
Okay, so
Jack will actually.
here's the thing.
No one
We
survived blast.
No, we met. Well, technically, Lynn may have, but therein lies the problem. We managed to get Tisa back.
So she should remember.
No, it was based off from what my understanding is, a sample of nanites from about the same time our engrams were taken.
What? So they grew another Tisa.
Out of cold storage, kind of, yeah.
She seems to mull this over for a moment, looking a little perplexed. And it's difficult to tell if she's perplexed because the story doesn't make sense or because she just doesn't know the technology, which there isn't a whole lot of reason why she should in her particular situation. And she goes, and Lynn?
Yeah, that's where the situation gets nasty. I don't know how much I should be telling you this, but at this point, I don't care, and it also might piss off Smith. We have reason to believe that Lynn was kidnapped and has been since augmented into a sort of armored, intellimorphic slave.
The Sentinels.
Yes.
So that situation with the dock last night was you.
Kind of. I wasn't awake for the explanation, but they've been told a bit.
I died.
She kind of looks over to you, and then the hooves, and she goes, "Oh, I see."
Apparently,
Thank
the
you much.
group we ran into had set an ambush for the group that we believe took Lynn. And instead they got us because we're thinking Lynn left us a trail to try and sniff out. And apparently the group we ran into, one of their members, what was her name? Daydreamer, was it? Or did they tell us?
I think we heard Daydreamer and Essel, but we didn't hear anything else.
We may have heard Day.
Yeah, we heard
Yeah.
Day and
Day. One of their members, someone by the name of Day, had been kidnapped, and they managed to get her back.
and we also got Lonnie's name, I think.
Yeah, she actually introduced herself.
Yeah, she introduced herself.
she's
So we
a-
have Lonnie.
The group was apparently led by a snake by the name of Lonnie.
We didn't
who
know
was
it was Snake.
running- Oh, we didn't know it. Okay.
Voice comms only.
Vicecom
That-
only.
That's why I'm having you guys correct me. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
They have a nefarious leader named Lonnie.
There was an entity by the name of Lonnie who was directing them and stopped the confrontation before it got too bad.
Oh,
I think
Mastermind.
she
Make
was
it really
in
awesome.
one of the boxes.
and she's kind of pacing back and forth on the boat now as she's kind of taking this all in. And what do you know about the explosion on City 7?
Nothing. All we've been told is to try and avoid public consumption for the time being, because they're still trying to figure it out. We're getting little bits and pieces of information, and we're not quite sure what happened or what's going on. We have a running theory, but until we can actually get more points of data, that theory is more of a hypothesis.
She kind of lets out a bit of a breath and goes, and Aiden said to tap me for potential guidance.
Yeah, because you apparently had worked with us in the past.
She nods a little bit and says, I was an occasional replacement for Lynn during her parenting days. But I was eventually escorted out. She kind of ponders a little bit. What have you been told so far about what it is you're supposed to be doing?
Not a lot. They've actually been keeping information from us. Or more specifically me. I don't know if they've told these two any more than me. But apparently when I first started with this group, I was a very big security risk.
She nods a little bit and says, well, if it makes you feel any better, that never stopped being the case.
Woohoo! Always in trouble!
To be fair, you haven't much of a fan of the hacking.
She nods a little bit and smiles and says, I think I think they want me to send you through the crash courses then. This is interesting. And she has this sort of mirthful laugh as she leans against the bulkhead of the boat a little bit, like this is pretty hot shit to be coming from the folks who basically fired me, kind of thing. But she doesn't look like she's necessarily walking away from it. It's more like trying to decide what she's going to do about it. Just yet. Says, well, how long are you on planet?
We're not entirely sure. They want us to pick up odd jobs for the time being and make and have an income coming in. They also don't want us following up on the entire Lynn situation. I'm doing my own investigations.
She nods a little bit and says, that's not surprising. Fortunately, so am I. I was looking into that same situation with the dock last night, but we were expecting a slightly less explosive arrangement. It certainly made a lot of noise.
You know a little about our group, and I
Actually,
don't know much
not
about.
so much. She shakes her head. The people I'm familiar with was only about 3 years ago. 2 actually, about before I stopped, and I can already tell it was a pretty different crowd. You'd been working together for 8 years at that point.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not one to actually say this, but honestly, we do need help. We have not 8. Well, Penny might count as 2, and Tisa can count as 2. We have some very distinct personalities, and all of our personalities have not gotten to the point where we're cohesive. And we need a focal point to cohese. Otherwise, we're just going to probably end up getting ourselves killed again and again and again. And I don't know about you.
She chuckles and nods a little bit and says, all right, well, if I have you here from now, and if I can bill Aiden, she chuckles a little bit as she drums her fingers on the boat. Sure. I have assignments I can put you on.
Oh, it sounds like she has a thing against Aiden. I like this already. Wait, was it Keel or Aiden that sent the info?
Aiden sent the info. You actually haven't spoke to Keel today.
Oh,
You haven't heard from him since sending the info back that Len might still be alive. Not that that's at all correlated.
No, I don't think that would be an emotional thing for him at all.
Mm-mm.
Nah, clearly not. He'd be fine with it. Like, oh, well, that's the thing. Anyways, let me get coffee.
So who else is with you? Tisa and Penny are still around in some form or another?
Yes, Penny was out late and came back zonked, and I think Tisa was staying around to keep her clear.
And their memories are 10 years out of date as well.
Yeah.
Around 10 years back.
Does Tisa know she has children?
I can't say for certain.
Since Drake is not privy to what happened, therefore he will give a full half-hearted shrug.
Are you gonna go, Tisa has children?
Yes, she apparently had. Yes, she does. She has at least a daughter.
No, I was saying that he should totally do that. I think it would be funny.
I'm not entirely up to date on the entire situation. Toberius smiles. I would love to be, but I'm not.
She nods a little bit and says, well, I guess get them out here. We'll get to work.
I'm calling straight to Tisa.
Hello?
Tisa!
Yeah, you do not have to yell, darling. I can hear you.
I'm not yelling. I'm being enthusiastic. We've encountered the person of interest.
Oh, you went out and found them?
Yes.
Marvelous.
Okay.
Oh,
And
so
she
turned
wants
out.
Interest.
and she wants to talk. But
Right,
she would like you and Penny here.
One moment. How long has Penny been out now?
Probably took you guys this conversation maybe an hour and a half.
I'd rather not wake her up this soon. Poor dear was exhausted.
You probably couldn't wake her up this soon without drugging her again. That's gonna last a little while longer.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't want to.
On the bright side, I'm
More
mobile.
hypos.
I mean, it's not like it's hard to get me places.
Is this supposed to be immediate, or can this wait?
I'm looking at Rio. Rio, is there any chance this can be delayed a little bit, or the sooner the better?
We can delay. Why, are they predisposed?
Well, apparently Penny is out cold, and Tisa is being very cautious about moving her right now.
Well then,
We can
I'll
all-
go to them.
Okay. We'll actually come to you.
And she'll get in the vehicle that you guys came with, basically, because hers is not equipped for transporting a Drac.
And there's also a boat.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Hey, I'd like to think that when Drac gets on the boat, it just kind of starts listing to one side.
Yep.
Her boat actually
It gets
is
on the boat and it starts to go down slowly, and then it's like,
her
oh,
boat
maybe you
is
should step
noteworthy
off.
in that it's pretty big. It's one of the larger ones there, and it's in a.
That's what happens. We're in a hotel in a city, so
Yeah, it doesn't do the rolling thing. But for those of you who are looking, actually, BB, do a mind exert and protocol and add your IRPF to it.
Ooh. Okay. Oh wait, mind exert. Damn it.
Is that for any of us who have it?
It's specifically an IRPF thing. So if anybody else has it,
XIRPF.
okay,
Yeah.
then you can do that.
I was say
That's
those
like
those two
for
are
the
both
backstory.
are buddy cops
Oh, okay.
basically, except they're not buddies. But they're buddies, but they're
Nor
not
are
buddy
they
cops.
cops.
Well, technically, they both were cops at one point.
beautiful.
+2 and +2.
Yeah, so he gets a 9.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm surprised that
I
actually
thought I
worked.
would
And also
show
a 9 from
each
Drac.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them have the same.
The boat is not parked in like the primary sort of chief's vehicle spot essentially, but it's close. It's like priority area. It would not. This is not really the sort of present that's given to your average sort of like I'm going to work out of the precinct consultant kind of thing.
There's a lot of due respect being
Yeah,
given here.
there's a lot of like, clearly she's actually held the chief's position for a long good period, and the person at the desk had said that she'd been there for close to 20 years or so. So, short of actually having the title, she pulls an awful lot of weight, and it's a pretty big boat. Looks like it was a retired craft from the previous fleet or so. So it's sizable. Doesn't say
Well, does
SS
anyone
Misery
know
on
there's a
it.
little blood stain on the corner that hasn't been able to been gotten out that belongs to Beauregard's mother?
Oh,
Or anything else.
lighthearted
Doesn't
campaign.
look
Suitably
Much.
dark.
There is a
I
little.
like it.
There is actually a little plaque on the side that has a list of names of people who fell during a particular water-related battle that happened some years ago.
So many wrecks in that bay. So many.
there were a bunch that went down. But yeah, she'll get in the car with the rest of you and head up toward Tisa and Penny.
That was a nice boat.
Has she stopped venting yet?
It is a somewhat diminished thing. Yeah, it doesn't last very long. I think it's like an hour.
Okay, cool.
So now she is just snoozing comfortably, which is nice for her.
Yeah, sure. I'm actually snoozing. I don't believe this shit.
You're vaguely snooze-tastic.
Yep.
But this group will end up back at the hotel in the next 40 minutes or so, traffic and such. So make their way back up and come inside. You don't recognize her, obviously, Tisa, because of the span gap, but she seems to look at you with a degree of recognition and resists a hug sort of deal going through, but instead
light wave.
Yeah, hands in a hand. It's strange to see you like this.
Have you been caught up on the situation?
Vaguely. I will have to find out how caught up can pertain to once I talk to all of you. Where's Penny?
She's in her room, resting. I gave her a little sedative, so she'll be out.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta double check. You're double checking the dosage as you tell everybody. I give her a little sedative.
Harmful for her body weight, but it shouldn't be harmful.
It's like I gave
She has
her
a really healthy liver.
Brand new, so you know.
As you're saying, you're like, yeah, I gave her a little bit, so you turn the canister over to his recommended dosage, and then just delivers like a lot of sedative.
You do that extremely cartoonish face drop.
Penny, right about there, you are beginning to wake up on your own and are feeling pretty loopy. But coming out of it okay. It's actually not all that disorienting. It's just sort of like, wow, that was kind of a wacky nap.
Yeah, that was weird.
There's a shower in that room if you wanted to like rinse off or anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some of that feeling of I had extra body parts for a little while, feeling off myself.
Might have just been a dream.
Yeah. No, I know better. It was before the sedative got in there. And also, I can't trust reality at this point, so I don't even know what that was. I don't know if that was the thing or if it was something else. I might have just been freaking out and you decided to sedate me. I don't know. This is like, is this the real life? I don't know. I'm going to take a shower.
You can try to get it going on. It's like standing in the Niagara Falls, but you can get it activated. This is the nice part about being macros. All the bathrooms are like amazing.
Yep.
You're like, oh.
Until she gets hit by the gigantic stream of water.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a little rough. The bidet actually sends you off the seat.
That's how I take a shower.
Right.
Don't shower in the poop water.
And get dressed and feel more or less secure in your position in the universe for a moment. Like,
yeah,
you feel more rested than you did, and that perhaps the trauma of the previous evening will not be so bad.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna make sure that my message did get sent because I tried to send it before I started taking drugs, so I'm gonna make sure I did send it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it actually sent off. You
I'll
thought
send
you had, but it hadn't departed yet.
All right, well I'm gonna double check and make sure it's still as I remember it, and then I'll send it.
Okay, yeah, send it on
the end of it goes off into a trail of blah.
Yeah, there's a distinct. It looks a little bit like you were talking about the press's kerfuffle, and then it stops.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to correct that part really quick, and then I'll send it. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't look like a tweet from a president. And then, I will go out and I'll like have my outfit all like perfect because I'm very meticulous.
Oh, look who's awake!
Hey, we have hi. Hey, I have your file. You're Ryo.
You may be that way if you wish to, but as you step out into the living room there, you will see the crowd of people all kind of having their breakfast donuts or whatever it was. I guess we're into lunchtime now, right?
Yeah, lunchtime.
Yeah, basically.
So pretty much just all time is donut time with Ben.
It's all donut time with Benton around.
Yeah.
And they will be consuming their food and engaging in joviality and whatnot while trying to figure out what is supposed to be happening next, except that the figure in the middle of the room is this kind of face-melting, vibrant entity akin to the one that you had seen the night before, with multiple limbs that are extended to different corners of the room, and a kind of multi-reflective surface, and the beaming eyes that kind of stare at you as you come through the door.
Okay, so appropriate reaction for this. Oh, I know. I am going to suddenly suck in my breath, press against the wall, wide-eyed, look like I'm staring at the thing.
Penny?
Penny looks momentarily terrified and then suddenly calms as though forced. And Penny, you will get a voice in your head saying, "Do not acknowledge it."
Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh, I just had an eyeball in my tongue, and I thought in the back of my throat, and that was really weird, guys. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh.
I believe that should stop soon enough.
I hope so. And that's not. I'm not crazy, right? That's actually happening.
No, that was happening. Dear,
Okay, because oh.
Do worry, maybe. I'm not sure, but it was happening.
Oh, okay.
Jack will actually look between the two of them and say entirely, "What the hell kind of drug did you give her, and why did you take
some kind of mage drug?"
It's just to deaden it a little bit. Remember, I like saw some weird crap last night when we were in the battle.
You rest okay? Oh, sorry. This is. Oh, I don't actually know your name.
Yeah. Who are you?
It will stand up, and as it kind of ascends, it's this very tall thing that kind of warps the room around it. It's distinctly more vector than the opinions that you, impressions that you had gotten from the other kind of transcendent entities that you had talked to. This looks like an ascendant form of a person, but it's still trippy. There's parts of its body that are missing. It's a very idealized figure, as though it might be how it imagines itself.
I think she may have been talking to Rio.
Yeah, I know. But
That's what's going on. This is how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, that's how she's saying Rio. Everybody else is seeing her as normal, but it looks like a sort of idealized / distorted view of oneself. So it's very pretty, but it's almost, or not almost, it is sort of like Lisa Frank, painfully vivid to your face, like a burning that saturates the room that goes to it. And as it reaches out toward you, it's not like an extended hand of friendship. It's like this thing will consume you in its entity before. But as it's reaching out to do it, the hand will kind of distort downward and the shape will diminish into the more vector-like form. And you look around a moment later to see that people are kind of waiting for you to shake her hand, basically. And she's saying, "I'm Rio," and looks kind of concerned at you, like there's a lifted brow, like, "Are you all right there?"
Sorry. I'm a little skittish. Just shake the hand.
And as she shakes her hand for a second, and you catch a little look in her eye, and do a community perceive and search.
12 for. I have a simplify on this, so yeah.
15.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
You catch it for a second. It's a look of shock as she touches your hand, and a kind of lack of recognition that should be there, and this overall opinion of, now that she has touched you, she recognizes you as not being you, hearkening back to the idea that you are not the same Penny that once had the original implant. And there is a sudden withdrawal of the hand.
Well, that's perhaps the most awkward handshake I've ever seen.
That'll be where we stop for now.
Oh.
With Tisa's comment.
Oh, that's me. We still have 45 minutes.
Well, to make up for it, we get 45 XP.
Right? Yeah, about that 45 XP, Zeph.
Well, let's see here. I had to do the recap myself, and then I had to do the pregame thing myself. So I think
Do
in maybe
you
like
not love doing those things?
I recall that
You're
you stopped
actively
letting us.
taking them from us.
Yes,
this
you
entire
have.
time.
And
I offered it today. Nobody stepped up.
yeah, but you dropped it on us suddenly, without warning.
You've had 2 weeks.
Also, about those 2 weeks, let's account for the sorry about not running game last week XP as well.
Yeah, what about that XP?
That consists of 0 XP because you didn't play last week.
That's not awful.
I think that I should get extra XP this week because, as per character development, I did take drugs.
Maybe you didn't play HSD last week, Speak.
That's what the rest
But
of
you
us
can't
did in
prove
our
that
heart.
we didn't.
We all sat around crying instead. Does that count as playing HSD? It feels a lot like some of our sessions.
That is kind of funny for us over our characters returning.
Lighthearted
So Zeb, about that
campaign.
extra 45 minutes we still
We're just gonna razz you for the remainder.
Yeah, we got 45 minutes of us
She's
being
running
jerks.
for 45 minutes as we just like completely bring you down.
You can have 10 eeps.
10.
No, that's
Isn't it
less.
12
That's
now?
less than we got the previous time.
Fine, 12 eeps.
Sweet.
Still less than we got the previous time.
No, we didn't get any the previous time because yes, we didn't give us XP for a non-run session.
I'm just saying, categorically on here, I have listed that we had more.
There were no light-threatening events or anything.
Oh, I don't. I don't know
Yeah.
about that. I think life-threatening events may have occurred.
It was
No,
there was a serious life-threatening
If I
event.
try to set up the next thing, that's the problem is, like, if I try to set up the next thing right now, we're not going to get to it, so it seemed as good of a place to stop as any.
Oh, sure, traumatized Penny. That's a good place to stop.
That's not a place to stop.
Well, traumatized the Sam character. That's an old well everyone goes back to.
Oh, thank you, Cronos.
You
I
say it's
appreciate
wrong.
it.
Wait.
I have a question.
Huh?
Why was everybody in Days Life a transcendent entity?
We
Her
don't know that
name
yet.
is Rio, and she dances on the sand. No, what's gonna happen is next game is she's going to do this sudden shriek. Her head's gonna spin around, sprout like 3 more, and then she's like gonna start breathing fire because she's gonna be like, "Not Brenny!" And then we're still gonna be leaderless.
I'll lead you.
Yeah.
Well, we used to.
By the way, while we're still streaming, I just want to remind everybody the HSD lore book is coming soon. Make sure to save all your pennies, including the ones that are in this game.
At least one of those is happening.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but pennies are not a legally recognized currency in my country anymore.
That is
They should not
incorrect.
be in mine.
If we ever have to like bargain somebody away for some information, would it be penny for your thoughts?
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Alright, well, I am going to stop the stream now because I'm pretty sure we're done. Are we done?
Bye bye, Pony.
Penny
Bye-bye.
saved
No.
us a penny.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
So long, so soon.
Did we win?